Good day, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. This is Vipercast of Viperland, and we returned. We're here. Greatest Attorney. This should be, I think, the final case. So, yeah, let's get it going. Like always, I made the mistake of starting it before because I always hit continue, and it's like, oh yeah, there's an episode thing, so I closed out of it. Watching it now. Twisted Karma and his last bow. Yeah, that sounds like a...
Pipe in hand, Sholmes looked down at the thick, rolling fog outside our window. I wonder exactly how many mysteries are out there, hidden within this bed of fog, he said.
Now, London, clearly full of mysteries.
Indeed, a most bizarre incident, born of a curious advertisement. A hellhound's mad gallop through the shadows of a serial murder. An executed man's graveyard resurrection in the dead of night.
You don't say. Never heard of it. It is
a
clearly.
commonplace killing in a small, forgotten room at the edge of town. There is naturally
I don't know if any
always
lawyer
another
can help you with
side
that
to every
story.
case, of which most remain ignorant.
Especially not me. A, not a lawyer.
And it
B,
is that
I was many
other
of those
side
murders.
Which compels me to the scene of the crimes.
I don't think I can defend you on that one.
So quickly now.
Many
take your
of
hat
those were
and
me.
let's be on our way, my dear fellow.
So I'm not
For our
sure
adventure is
if
not
anyone
over
can
yet.
help you,
Come.
but I'm
The game is
relatively
afoot.
sure that I cannot. There. Drink prepared. Honestly, I've just become addicted to the sweet tea drink additive. It is good. 8 days after that earth-shattering trial, and Cosmo regained his memory. We were in the foyer of one of London's most luxurious hotels, the Great Waterloo Hotel. First November, 10:24 a.m., Great Waterloo Hotel, foyer. Professor Mikitova is due to arrive at any moment. Yes, I'm so glad he got here in time. Or we. Susanna-san hasn't been the same since what happened. Not that I'm surprised. The truth about Cosmo-sama's father. Do you suppose my father knew? Probably. So, this is 4. Case number 4. And maybe it's not the final case, but boy does it seem to be... Like, with all the stuff that happened at the end of the last case, if this isn't the final case, I'll be shocked. So I put in the title that we're starting the final case because I'm assuming, but I actually don't know. That he was actually the mass murderer, the professor, you mean? Maybe that's what she was thinking about. There's a good chance, I'd say. I mean, they did come here to London together 16 years ago, didn't they? Yes, that's true. Come to think of it, didn't you say that Professor Mikitova knew about Cosmo going missing in Hong Kong as well? That's right, but for some reason he wasn't at liberty to talk to me about it. That probably makes you know something. About Cosmo showing up here in London with amnesia, and that he's regained his memory now. Ah, there she is. Oh, Father. Hello, Susato. How are you? Man, we've only seen him in, like, traditional Japanese wear. It's a little weird to see him in, like, formal suit and tie. I'm very well, thank you. We're delighted you've arrived safe and sound. I mean, same with the judge, to be fair. Hello, Mr. Naruhodo. Very kind of you to take the trouble to meet us here. No, not at all. It's my pleasure. We've heard all about your extraordinary exploits here in London, you know. The news has crossed the seas. It has? I always look forward to reading the monthly reports that arrive with the steamships from Britain. Oh, I see. Well, thank you very much. Who is this man? And why do I feel as though I've seen him before? As if he's not the judge that presided over that case where you defended yourself. Take it from your expression that you can't quite place me. In that case, how about a little reminder, Seishiro? A firm tap should do it. Yes. A firm tap? What? Here we go then. I hereby pronounce the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, guilty. Ah. Oh, you're... Now, here's the judge. Yeah, that guy. Just, in a very different formal suit. Your Excellency! Hello, Judge Jigoku. How are you? It's been a long time. Ha ha ha. Good, you've remembered now. You really did the trick. Yeah, who would have thought that would have helped? Guilty. Wow. I like that you can just make a joke about us being guilty of murder. Only I was declared not guilty, wasn't I? And there was no laughing at the time. So, London again after all this time. Hard to believe it's been 10 years. To be honest, I never thought I'd be back. Neither did I. I didn't imagine Japan would ever be invited to an international symposium like this. Though, really, I doubt anyone did, to be honest. It's all thanks to you, isn't it, Seishiro? What are you talking about, Eugen? Good to know the judge got a sense of humor. Of course, Judge Jigoku. He must complete the set. He's the other man who 16 years ago came to London with Kazuma's father and Professor Mikotoba. He's the third visiting scholar, which explains why he has a formal suit ready to go. Man, look at how many attorney badges he has as the buttons on his suit. Phoenix would not be able to keep himself in check. Well, all those passport checks and luggage searches at the border took rather a lot of time. I must say, I'm very envious of your ministerial status. You don't have to go through any of that, did you? What about Uber Eats? Thank you for writing an email. I knew you were jealous. Sorry? Ministerial status? Yes, didn't you know? Seishiro here is also Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs. It was his personal insistence that allowed you to take Kazuma's place here in the study tour. Guilty as charged. At least he's a happy guy, you know? I should just know when the weather's like this to blow my nose before stream, but I don't. So it keeps happening. Today, 40 degrees and rainy. Yesterday, cold, snowy. Tomorrow, in the middle, and it's supposed to plummet back down to like almost single digits, and then we're supposed to get snow again on like Thursday. Like everything is, it's all over the place. Oh well, thank you very much. He's really every bit as important as he looks. Ah yes, now Naruhodo. I received a telegram from Lord Strongheart yesterday. Oh, you did? It appears that some things came to light in a trial you were involved with 8 days ago. About what happened 10 years ago. That tragedy. Yes, could you tell us any more about it? Well, let's see what they got. So, how was the voyage here? Well, 50 days at sea is a long time by anyone's standards. But it wasn't as bad as when we first came 16 years ago. Oh, that's true. Then I truly wondered if we wouldn't be drifting in the vast ocean for the rest of our lives. This time we followed the same route as you, so we were able to relax and enjoy the experience. Like 50 days is still a long time. Ah, so you stopped in France's beautiful capital, Paris. We did, yes. But only for one night. And yesterday evening we left the port of Dunkirk for Dover. Just in time for the symposium, in fact. It starts tomorrow. It's wonderful that you were invited to attend such an important international event. I'm very proud of you, Father. It's thanks to Seishiro here. 16 years ago he managed to ingratiate himself with Britain's Attorney General. I'm sure that's why he was invited. I suppose you could say I'm something of an appendage by default. Speak for yourself, Eugen. You were close friends with the professor of forensic science at a major hospital. Yes, well, I'd rather not dredge all that up, really. No, there's been a lot of water under the bridge since then, but it doesn't bring him back. Cosmo's father, I suppose. Well, guess it's time to ask about it. The professor. The killer who took the lives of 5 members of the British aristocracy was actually Cosmo's father, wasn't he? That's correct. Genshin Asogi. Genshin. So you can say all these murders left a Genshin impact? Maybe. You knew, I presume, father? Yes, he was a close friend at the time. Genshin came to Britain as a police detective. He was studying investigative techniques in Scotland Yard. I never understood what drove the man to commit such heinous acts. It was a closed trial, so the public never knew the truth. He was executed with little ado. To this day, very few people know what really happened, even in our homeland. Oops. But what about Cosmo? Did he know? Did he know the truth about his father? No, of course not. He was told his father passed from sickness. Excuse me. However, I suspect he may have had his doubts. No, why? As you know, I tried to guide Cosmo growing up, as if he were my own son. Then one day he came to my office at the university and said, I've decided. I want to travel to Great Britain and study there. Do you think he wanted to come here to investigate his father's death? I don't know. But when I looked into his eyes, I did know that there was no way to be able to stop him. Something else came to light in that trial the other day, actually. Oh, what? Well, having disappeared in Hong Kong and been missing for almost a year, Cosmo has since turned up here in London, working as the apprentice of Lord Van Zees. What? What? That's news to us. So, Lord Strongheart's telegram neglected to mention that part then. Yeah, he's alive, he's here, he's, as you know, we both thought Cosmo had died on the steamship during our voyage to Great Britain in January. But he didn't die, he's alive. As you knew, didn't you, Father? In actual fact, no. What I did know is that when your ship docked in Hong Kong, he mysteriously vanished. I sent a team of investigators to Hong Kong to try to ascertain what had happened, but to no avail. He's still alive, and here in London, you said. Never dared even to dream. Why on earth did the young man not make contact? The government and the police have been chasing clues fruitlessly for months now. Well, it seems that he was suffering from amnesia. What? Amnesia? When we first came across him again, here in London, he didn't know who either of us were. I see. He only regained his memories 8 days ago. This is unbelievable. Yes, it's quite miraculous. Wonder why Lord Strongheart didn't let us know. I must speak with him urgently. Wonder how Cosmo's been these past few days. Would it be wrong of us to go and visit him? I mean, gotta go say hi, right? That began 16 years ago. It's a distant memory, really. It was Yujin here, Genshin Asogi, and myself. We were the original 3. The first judicial scholars from Japan to travel overseas to study. Ocean voyages were not what they are today, I can tell you. 16 years ago, things were tough for their generation. Your father was an exceptionally fine medical student at UMA University at the time. You know, young lady? Yes, grandmother told me. He went to do research at a great London hospital to study autopsy. Practically unheard of in Japan. Yes, it was an eerie place sandwiched between the back of a prison and a burial ground. Not more talk of graves. Very often, there's no one willing to deal with bodies following autopsy work. So you see, autopsy labs have something of an unavoidable relationship with graveyards and prisons. Not my cup of tea at all. Remember that Scottish prison governor? Keaton, his name was? He was a good man. Yes, but then of course, in our 6th year here, everything changed with that dreadful case. When Genshin was arrested for a series of most gruesome murders. I simply couldn't believe it. I'd known the man for years. I was a witness at the secret hearing, and I tried to speak in his defense, but but you went a little too far and ended up facing charges yourself, didn't you? Well, suffice to say that after that trial, we were sent back to Japan. There's nothing more we could do to save Genshin. It was a lost cause, sadly. Well, if you'll excuse us now. Yes, I'd like to get this trunk up to my room as soon as possible. Oh, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have held you up here for so long. I'll call for the porter then. Just wait here. Susato-san's gone off on a run. I'd like to stay and talk more, but I do have various preparations to make for tomorrow. Yes, of course, it must be a big responsibility representing our entire country. I wish you the best of luck. Naruhodo, I hope you'll keep an eye on Susato for me. Keep looking after her, as you obviously have been. Oh no, I mean, if anyone's looking after anyone, it's her looking after me. Well, I do appreciate you being there for her, after all. I've been a miserable father to her. I thoroughly let her down. Sorry? What do you mean? Well, it was 16 years ago that I started my long study tour here in Britain, as you know. The very year Susato was born. Yes, I heard. The birth of my daughter was the most joyous event of my life, but... well, sadly it was accompanied by the most tragic event of my life, too. Oh, yes. Susato-san hinted at something like that. Anyway, I won't bore you with the details. The point is, I became rather less dependable than befits a grown man. And it was then that Seishiro offered me the opportunity to study here in Great Britain. I was too worried about you to leave you behind. So perhaps I was a little heavy-handed when it came to persuading you to accompany me to London. So, that's what happened in a nutshell. And it's also the reason why I now feel compelled to give my daughter as many opportunities as I dare. Though the world does not readily afford young women such things, I must say. I completely understand, Professor. Ah, one other thing, Naruhodo. If I may be so bold, I have a favor to ask you. Oh, really? Of course. What can I do for you? Well, the thing is, So sorry it took so long. Miss Susato. Now then, allow us to take your bags. Allow me to take your bags. One moment, if you please, porter. Hey, Ramen. How's it going? Welcome to Viperland Chat. How you doing? We started the case. Things are going down. We met people. Of course, sir. That machine around your neck. It's a camera, I believe. Quite right, sir. Just 5 shillings for a lovely photograph to commemorate a wonderful stay at the hotel, sir. Well, I think given the occasion, we could justify the expense. Yes, of course. Nervous Naruhodo. We met these two. We talked to them about, you know, what happened 16 years ago. That's it. I'd like to thank you for coming with me, Mr. Naruhodo. It's really made Father very happy, I think. Oh, well, I'm pleased then. But we were interrupted before. Professor Mikotomo was about to ask me something. Shall we return to Baker Street then? I expect Iris will have some delicious tea waiting for us. Yes, let's go. Getting more and more anxious about Cosmo, though. Perhaps I'll try to meet with the Lord Strongheart later and ask after him. The location's been added. The Great Waterloo Hotel. Well, let's go see if they got tea. Excuse me. 1st November, Sholmes' Suite. What was that? A man screaming in a most unflattering way. Do you think... could it have been Mr. Sholmes? No. Oh my, I do hope not. I didn't do it anymore. I don't do it anymore. Mon ami, mon ami. Stop this disgraceful display, oh? Who are these people? Look at their hair. It's bright red. I think they must be clients of Mr. Sholmes. A Viper of French, always. Viper of French is just Viper Orange, but he's got like a beret on instead and a baguette. Right, you two. You're coming with me now, down to the cliff. No, not in prison. It's dark and damp, and I don't like it. Poof, the darkness, it is my friend. I am not scared. Oui, but you are always scared of the dark. Shut your mouth, you idiot. I will sit quietly in the dark and plan our next daring heist. Oh, you're just admitting to planning a heist right here. Oui, I don't like this. I don't like it. Well, tough. We'll finish this down at the yard. Now get moving. Wow, shouted that man to the ground. Bye then, Ginny. Have fun. Oh yeah, thanks, Iris. Thanks, you great detective. We helped him, sure. Yeah, Gina makes a fine detective herself, doesn't she? Oh, Susie and Bruno. Hello, Iris. We're home. Well, did you find your daddy? Yes, we arrived at the hotel just before he and his friend. Oh, well, that's great news. I hope I'll get to see my daddy again soon. Yes. I don't remember if Susato knows. We know Naruhodo knows. I don't know if Susato knows. Yes, of course. I feel like she must. Dr. John H. Wilson. So, Iris, all that remains now is that greatest of problems known to man. But before we concern ourselves with that, I believe some tea is in order, don't you, dear fellows? Sholmes seems to be missing a soul lately. Is something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? Do I have a crumb or such like on my face? Not so much on your face. It's on your head, I'd say. Come along then, everyone. I've brewed a lovely special blend. Time for tea. Whatever's going on here today. In that case, let us sit down and drink now. For I am, in fact, expecting a guest later today. You just had 2 guests leave. And we're here now, so, I don't know, guess someone else too. Here, 2 visitors. Mr. Sholmes, who are the 2 gentlemen that were here before? Oh, just a pair of petty criminals, nothing of significance. Of course, they have to make a living somehow. And when the mood takes me, I'm willing to turn a blind eye to all manner of infractions. When the mood takes you? All manner of infractions. But when such fellows set their sights on Mr. Herlock Sholmes, well, that's when their luck runs out. Oh my, you're the target of a crime, Mr. Sholmes. But I quickly devised a plan to entrap them and deliver them to our young detective ally. Should have asked Gregsy to come too. We could have had an arresting tea party. I did send word, but no answer was forthcoming. The man is consummately in the wrong place at the wrong time. There's a word for it, I'm sure. Aha, I have it. A bungler, that's the word. It's a good job he's not here to hear you say that. So, those redheads have been up to no good. I wonder what the men did. What was that about the greatest of problems known to man that you mentioned before? Is it another fiendishly intricate case, Mr. Sholmes? How should I best explain it? Are you aware of the theory of evolution by natural selection, perchance? Well, I think I've heard talk of it somewhere, possibly. It's a revolutionary scientific theory that was newly proposed 40 years ago now. According to its author, Mr. Darwin, we humans were once apes who lived in the treetops. Wait, what? We were apes? Indeed, and from the very moment those apes descended from the canopy to live as humans, it has been our lot to be at the mercy of the greatest problem known to man. Our lot? What is this great problem, Mr. Sholmes? Why is it not obvious, my dear madam? The problem of rent. Oh, that got too real way too fast. Just way too fast. But did you not receive a rather large sum of money from Madame Tuspel's only the other day? But a large sum? 1 potted herb for Iris and a new monitor card for Mutilator, and all of it has quite disappeared, I assure you. Bought a new car? Honestly, Early, you know you squandered it. Yes, well, anyway, 2 days ago, I discovered the answer to man's greatest problem, for the coming month at least. And what was the answer? Why, there is a substantial clue before your very eyes. You discovered hair dye? Don't tell me. Let me see. Humans are sorry creatures, unable to see what is in front of their noses. Let me give you some assistance. Don't look, but observe me very closely. There's one particular feature about my person that has changed. You should notice it in the end, I think. You notice it at the beginning. In the end? It doesn't even matter. It's been stabbing me in both eyes right from the very beginning of our conversation. I think we might need another clue before we uncover the full answer, Mr. Naruhodo. Definitely another clue. Thanks for the hint. I'm tearing my hair out if this charade goes on much longer. Could be anything, honestly. Mr. Sholmes, isn't it about time you told us the truth? Just over a week ago, you said to us. That case aboard the SS Bureau in January. Cosmo wasn't killed, and you knew he wasn't dead at the time. So what was really going on? The fellow was unconscious for a very long time. If he hadn't regained consciousness when he did, his life would have been in mortal peril. Of course, a side effect of the prolonged comatose state was amnesia, as you now know. It was a simple enough task to silence the crew. But how? After they'd carried him off of the cabin, I assembled them in the lobby area. Then I made them swear to leave him unconscious and have him unlaid from the ship in Hong Kong as a murdered corpse. Oh, how horrible. It was necessary to find some material with which to persuade the crewmen to keep their words, of course. But why? Why do it in the first place? I will be at liberty to elaborate in due course. But for the time being, I would like to reassure you. I didn't foresee subsequent events. What events? His disappearance in Hong Kong. Oh. I believe I may have made a gross error of judgment. Mr. Sholmes. Alright, that's probably all we got here. I think that's the only thing that doesn't look too familiar to me here. The mask Cosmo wore when he was assigned to Lord Van Zieks' apprentice. When he cast it aside after the trial the other day, I just sort of picked it up. I want to give it back to him, I suppose. But he has his memory back now, doesn't he? I can't help feeling he might turn around and tell me how coldly to wear it myself. But isn't he your best friend? I mean, but he's also had his memory back for 8 days, and neither of them has talked to the other, so bye! First November, British Supreme Court Lord Chief Justice's office. Here's the final draft of the opening address for tomorrow's proceedings. I've supplemented your original with the figures you asked for from the yard. I see. Excellent work. Thank you. You're welcome, my lord. What's Lord Van Zieks doing here? My, there seems to be an awful lot of tension in the air, wouldn't you say? This place is stifling even enough as it is. We really don't need any more tension. My apologies, I didn't notice you come in. Your small stature and dark dress make you all but invisible to me. I only see large, bright things. You're small and not bright. I can't even see you. My vision is entirely size-based. One of my friends, apparently, their significant other was doing character creation in Monster Hunter, and then they gave it a try for Wilds, and now they've seen the Hunting Horn, and I quote, "I don't think I've ever been more enamored with something's creativity than seeing the Hunting Horn in Monster Hunter Wilds." Yes. Yes. That's the correct answer. Exactly. Oh no, it's entirely my fault for wearing black, I'm sure. From now on, you must dress in white from head to toe whenever you come here. And she's dressed in pastels. Now then, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, my lord. I'm right here. Ugh, kill me now. Something wrong. Perhaps it is a little too hot in here for you. Oh, no, not at all. I mean, I never experienced a room at such a perfect temperature. If you're sure, the beads of sweat carving their way down your face seem to suggest otherwise. Those are the daggers you're staring at me with, mainly. As you're no doubt aware, my International Forensic Science Symposium begins tomorrow. In fact, your father arrived in London earlier today, I hear, madam. Oh, yes, that's right, my lord. He's extremely honored to have been invited. I'll leave the remaining preparations for the meeting room in your capable hands, then, Lord Van Zieks. I will attend at once. Does everyone have to stare daggers at us? He gave you a very cold stare as he left, didn't he? I know, but I haven't done anything. Have I? These past few days, my feet have barely touched the ground, I must say. Ah, you learned how to levitate. Very good. My delighted right hand of many years was recently put out of action in spectacular fashion. Oh, sorry to hear that. Is your left hand still of service? Mr. Naruhodo, he's talking about Dr. Scythe. I'm so glad he took that absolutely literally. Oh, I'm really sorry. Is your left hand still okay? Ah, of course. I'm terribly sorry about that. I was just, Fear not. You've done nothing wrong. Dr. Scythe's own wrongdoing precipitated the situation. You needn't concern yourself with it any further. That would be a lot easier to do if it weren't for the piercing stare you're giving me. Lord Van Zieks is doing an admirable job of holding the fort, though disturbingly, his apprentice has been missing since yesterday. Oh, missing? What's become of Cosmo-sama now? Guess we'll ask about it. Nope. I said I guess we'll ask about it. Yeah, we'll start with it. About Lord Van Zieks' apprentice. Ah yes, that came as a surprise to me, I must say. That you and he are old friends. How did he become an apprentice to Lord Van Zieks in the first place? Came about 3 months ago. An unidentified Asian man was apprehended by border police. They found him hiding aboard a large goods vessel. Oh my, so he stowed away to get here. He had no papers to identify him, no passport, and he was suffering from amnesia too. Other than the fact he was clearly of Eastern descent, there were no clues as to who he was. So I decided to assign him to Lord Van Zieks, since that man clearly loves all human beings of Eastern descendants, and definitely did not have any racism or grudges in his body, blood, mind, or soul whatsoever. That way I could keep an eye on him. But then, why the mask? I didn't want to burden Lord Van Zieks with tiresome explanations about why he had an Eastern apprentice. It would be so much easier to explain why he was wearing a mask. His moving would be a great help to Lord Van Zieks. I have high hopes for his future. By the way, do you know where he's gone? No idea, but I believe he's left London for the time being. Oh. Take it you also didn't know. The man's father was one of our country's most infamous criminals, I mean. Genshin Asugi. Still can't believe his first name is Genshin. Oh yeah, you weren't here, Ramen, to hear the obviously big joke that was super funny that nobody's ever said before, that since he murdered so many people, his father left a Genshin impact on the country. Yes, it had to be said twice because somebody had to suffer. I thought of it. Somebody's got to suffer with me. Yeah, definitely nobody's ever said that before. It's 100% original, and I know. Because it's so convoluted and difficult to come up with that definitely never once has that joke been made. What we learned from the trial 8 days ago was a huge shock. Finding out my friend's father was, yes, Genshin Asugi. Professor case 10 years ago caused a great stir here in Britain. Such awful murders and unprecedented, using a ferocious dog as a murder weapon. And no one would have believed the culprit was a foreign student invited to study here by the government. So the true identity of the killer couldn't be made public then, and can't be made public now. Nobody in your country knows it was him. That's a lie. 2 people definitely know. And neither do the citizens of London. That's a bit of a lie. I guess it's really just Van Zieks. The main motivation was to avoid aggravating relations between our 2 nations at the time, I understand. Correct. However, it has to be noted that there were some supporters of the professor's apparent cause. What? Supporters of a mass murderer? The majority of the man's victims were a blight on the aristocracy of the day. Somewhat ironically, their deaths actually benefited society as a whole. Or so a fair few thinkers in London believed anyway. Right, I see. It was still murder, wasn't it? Oh, speaking of Monster Hunter people, I mentioned that there was somebody at the card game that had a Perfect Alexander shirt on. His girlfriend noticed my hoodie because I was wearing the Rathalos hoodie, and asked if I was excited for Monster Hunter, and it turns out both of them not only play 14 together, they both play Monster Hunter together, which means, and obviously play Magic on Friday nights, thus meaning they are obviously cool people. He's a warrior main, she's a scholar main, he's a greatsword main, and she's a light bowgun main. So obviously cool people. But it was still murder, wasn't it? It seems very similar, doesn't it? To the idea of the Reaper of the Bailey. Up here. Not long ago, visitor numbers to the Great Exhibition exceeded 30 million. Yeah, right? It's kind of crazy. Like, I'm not saying there's no overlap between the 3, but Magic the Gathering, Final Fantasy XIV, and Monster Hunter, those are fairly different things. All fun things that I enjoy personally, but like, yeah, that's a hell of an overlap. 30 million? Are there even that many people in the world? As a comparison, Mr. Naruhodo, the population of the imperial capital Tokyo is 2 million. 30 Tokyos came here. Well, 30 Tokyos of that time. I'll be opening the International Forensic Science Symposium in the exhibition's main auditorium. This event has been 2 years in the making, 2 years of preparations and negotiations with other countries. Sounds like a tremendous achievement. Congratulations. The 20th century will see the wholesale adoption of forensic investigation techniques. And cooperation between policing organizations around the globe will be essential. Which is why this landmark first symposium had to be hosted here at the heart of our great British Empire, in order that Scotland Yard can become the leading investigative organization in the New World. It's the same as ever, I say. That passion of his is quite something. Every bit as passionate in your own way, I'm sure, Mr. Naruhodo. The only person in this country who truly cares about a future that embraces forensic science. I don't know about that. There's probably a bunch of other, scientists and detectives, and I'm sure more than just you is like, no, it would probably be great if we could actually solve cases better scientifically, but no, I guess just you. It's my intention to become Her Majesty's Attorney General and reform the Yard from the ground up. So the disgrace of the forensic investigation team has been a bitter blow to my ambitions. Sorry we did that, but also, whatever. First established the forensic investigation team a year ago, experimentally to start with. With Dr. Scythe at the helm, I was steadily accruing an impressive record of achievements. I was on the verge of changing its name and elevating its status to a full-blown forensic investigation department. And, can you not do that now? Obviously, nobody wants to hear anything about it at the moment. Even I can't keep this story out of the papers. 6 million Londoners will be cursing forensic science now. This incident will set back our country's advancement in the field by a good 10 years, I'd say. Unintended repercussions of our trial. Simply couldn't have overlooked what had happened, though. Of course not. We should all be grateful to you both. Sure, the fact that your lifelong goal and ambition being set back a decade minimum by 2 people from a foreign land who came here definitely doesn't irk you in any way. I'm sure. Definitely not. Anyway, I'll still reform this country's policing when I become Attorney General. This might delay my plans, but it won't alter them. Nothing will stand in my way. Okay. Bye. Next November, Naruhodo's Legal Consultancy. Well, gotta do it. It has to be done. The spade is still here, look. Please, Mr. Naruhodo, it's not a spade, as I think you well know. It's a shovel. Didn't take long to reignite that old argument. Ah, I have an idea. Let's give the implement a name, like Professor Harebrained named his tools. Oh, I never thought of doing that. From now on, then, let's call it Ryunosuke. No, it's clearly much more of a Susada. The old argument has taken a new and unexpected turn, it seems. Good. Same argument, different name. It's good news that Professor Mikotoba arrived safely, isn't it? Yes, it's wonderful. And the fact that Father has been invited to this important international event really makes me very proud to be his daughter. Your father, Judge Jikoku, us, and Kazuma, of course. There's an ever-increasing number of Japanese here in Britain's capital, isn't there? Well, yes, suppose so. But London does have a population of 6 million people, so I think we're still a minority. Susanoo-san's father, who came here as a visiting student 16 years ago, and Kazuma. It's almost as if some great power has been at work, drawing them here across the ocean to London. And I feel as though the waters are starting to swell again now. Alright, well, I don't know if we have anything to rub on anyone. We can rub our armband on people, I guess. We also didn't really examine every area. Look at those cases just left there on that trolley. Aren't they worried about thieves? I know I am. Haven't you seen the porter over there? Don't worry, he's obviously keeping an eye on everything. Ah, so it's a trap designed to catch any chancers who might be tempted. Why did the porter give me such a scathing look just now, do you suppose? Well, some might say you look a little suspicious with your jet black clothes. And everyone clad in black is some sort of ninja with intent to steal, you know? I mean, are you sure of that, though? Are you positive you're not a ninja? I'll say, Birdie, how's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. How you doing today? Hope your weekend has been going well for you. The desk is known as the hotel reception. Anyone wanting to spend the night has to report there to sign in for their stay. Oh, so do you think that's the head clerk behind the desk there? Yes, I'm sure it must be. I'd love to stay in a grand hotel like this for a little while, wouldn't you? Just to know what it's like. If the hotel fee was paid through our stipend, I'm afraid it might bankrupt our homeland. Oh. Yeah, but that's the first step of anything, is sucking at it. That's just how it goes. But, you know, you keep going. You get better. Or, you know, you find something else you want to do too. Like, and to take your pick. I assure you, I was a very, very, very bad hunter for 2 full games. I was a bad Freedom Unite hunter. I was a bad Portable Third hunter. And the only reason I was a passable hunter in 4U was, oh, damn it, spacing on his name. Gaijin Hunter? His videos. That's the only reason I have any knowledge of weapons now, is because he kind of had tutorial videos that kind of was like, oh, this is what these do. This is kind of how these weapons work out, ideally. Yeah. Yeah, like, as long as you're determined and you keep trying, you'll get better. I promise you. And if you narrow down, like, a weapon or weapon types you like, there's tons of people out there who will be playing it, streaming it, talking about it. So if you're looking for tips and tricks on specific weapons, there's always going to be people out there that can help you out a bit. But even just getting the basic buttons down is a really strong start. Basic buttons, the fact that the game shows you damage numbers now helps a ton with knowing, like, oh, that did more damage. Okay, if I take this weapon and I hit that body part, here you go. That's huge. That's stuff that I didn't have access to when I started, which is why I started with a bowgun from halfway across the map and wondered why I did trash damage. But now you'd see that. You would see 1, 1, 1, 1, and then you'd move closer to it and you see like 3, 5, 6. You'd be like, oh, I get, yeah. Stuff I didn't have access to. Sword and Shield. See, people look down on Sword and Shield sometimes because they think it's like a cheap beginner weapon, but legit, Sword and Shield, phenomenal. Dual blades, flashy as hell. The only downside I have to dual blades is I tend to overextend. I tend to get too greedy, and I get slapped for it because I try to demon combo too much. Light bowguns. Bowguns are tricky. Bowguns can be very good. Every weapon can be very good, as I'm sure you've seen. Bowguns take a little more learning, in my opinion. Is it worthwhile? Yes, if that's what you want to learn. Oh man, I had no idea what crit distance was at all, and there was no real, like, yes, I could have paid attention to screen shake and hit markers, but I didn't know that was the thing to pay attention to. In hindsight, it's easy to say that. In hindsight, I could have found that out. I had no idea then. Yeah, bowgun's tricky because you have to be at the right distance, and the distance changes depending on what ammo you're using. So, it's tricky. And then you have to provide ammo and make sure you're stocked on it. But that downside leads to the big upside of versatility and options. You can build a light bowgun a bunch of different ways, depending on the armor, the weapon, the specific light bowgun, and the ammo you bring. Pros and cons for everything. It's definitely... light bowgun needs a bit more button knowledge, for sure. As long as you're having fun, that is the most important thing. As long as you're having fun, then you'll keep hunting stuff, and you'll keep learning. Every run, you'll be like, oh, I died to that. And he always does that after he lifts his head up this certain way. Maybe I won't be there for that. Like, it's... so much of it is just experience. And getting used to the controls, but playtime will do that too. Great Sword's the best beginner weapon nowadays? Maybe. I loves me some Great Sword. Sword and Shield used to definitely be... Sword and Shield is great also because you can use items without sheathing. But like some of the Sword and Shield combos are so fun. Yeah. Oh, very cool. Yeah, I don't think I've ever actually hunted with cannon fodder, but I've seen a bunch of their streams and they're obviously chill and cool. So like, good, awesome. the game releasing as a whole will be huge because tons of different streamers out there are all going to have hubs and they're all going to be hunting with people and it's going to be a great time. I can't wait. It's 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I'm so ready. I'm so ready. I mean, it'll be fine in the meantime. But taking that whole weekend, most of that weekend, Sunday of that weekend is Afro's birthday. So there will probably be time spent not hunting monsters on that Sunday, but that's okay. You know. Also, speaking of streams, I ordered stuff to help me organize my card collection. So finally, like those big, like 5-lane cardboard storage boxes and like a sorting tray. I might, depending on when I get it. It's supposed to arrive Tuesday, midday. We'll see. If it does, I may end up doing on Tuesday or Wednesday just a chill midday sorting card stream with song request up, just as an excuse for people to pop by and like hit me with music to keep me occupied while I'm sorting cards. We'll see. I might just point the camera down from the top so you see the whole like sorting tray. It's an idea I was tossing around because when I sort, I just blast music anyway. Maybe it would be fun to like have song request up as a chill thing. We'll see. If I do decide to do that, I'll at least give people a small heads up. But don't know. Also, hey Seven, how you doing? Welcome to my Blending Chat. Hope your weekend's going well. Hope it's a little drier and warmer than it is where I am. It's actually not too cold. It's super rainy. It has been pouring all day, which is gonna suck because it's gonna get cold overnight and it's all gonna be ice. But I'm still going out for breakfast tomorrow morning, and I hopefully will not fall. I don't think it shows up on the camera, but I cut my thumb and my pinky when I fell the other day. Small, like it doesn't even hurt. So the backyard is basically an ice skating rink, and I was stupid. Kai, big German Shepherd here, friendly dog, love him. He likes when I kick his ball. He's always got a basketball or something he's chewed to death, and he just wants me to kick it when I go out to go get my bike. And I gave it a light kick, and just lost my balance. Absolutely, Birdie. I cannot promise it'll be day one. A lot of times day one I like to do just solo runs just to prove to myself I can still actually hunt things before I go in a group setting. However, 1000% once I start opening hunts up to people, everyone is welcome and invited. Absolutely including you. So, yes, I cannot guarantee it'll be the first day or two, but as soon as the hubs are open up, yes, 100%. I look forward to it. That quote is gonna... Man, Disgaea7 gave us so many good things. I did not nab that new sound file yet, but it's still sitting there markered and waiting. So, I didn't nab it yet, but I'm going to, because I gotta do something with that. I still don't know whether I'm going to set that as a daddy command or just set it into oof, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good, yeah. True, London gives the word expensive a whole new meaning. And don't forget Birdie, even Kanta carts. He's quite possibly one of the greatest Monster Hunter skilled players. Hard stop, and even he carts the stuff. And he is like stupid good, like blows me away how good he is, and he still carts the stuff. We all do. It's just life. Now, as you get better, you cart a little less, sure, but like it happens to all of us. Pretty often. If you saw any of that Archipelago stream, we all cart a lot. Look at that, it's a picture of the Crystal Tower. Well, the Great Exhibition is one of Britain's most prestigious achievements in recent years. Wonder how tall it is. It really does represent the pinnacle of scientific achievements in so many ways. There's a 20-meter tall chimney on the bathhouse near my lodgings at Yume University. The attendant there is always boasting that it's the tallest object in the neighborhood. I'm sure. Did you know that over in the channel in Paris, there's a tower that's 300 meters tall? What? How many times taller than the chimney at Yume Soken Hot Springs is that? Wait, Yume Soken? Of course. Yume Soken Hot Springs, yep. I guess you may, if you pay. If that's how tall, and if it's that tall, how does it draw properly? The smoke would get stuck, surely. I don't think it's that sort of tower, Mr. Naruhodo. Also, I don't think that's how smoke works. No, it's Yume University Hot Springs, so it's Yume Soken Hot Springs. You know, it's just how all the names go. That's all we're getting. Oh, chandelier. I don't think any of these are helping us out. Have you seen all those sparkling jewels up there? They must have gathered every gem in the world for that. Ah, it's called chandelier, I believe. It's designed to provide elegant lighting in large, spacious rooms like this. So they had to gather every gem in the world just to illuminate one room. It's probably electric light bulbs that are actually throwing the light. If I tried to hang something like that from the ceiling in the office, it would be scraping on the floor. I think perhaps chandeliers aren't for you, Mr. Naruhodo. Yeah, I suppose they wouldn't be. Alright, well, nothing else here. I don't think there's anything to look at here that we haven't already. We did all the talking. I mean, technically, we could rub our armband on them. Can I show you this, Lord Strongheart? I'm the Lord Chief Justice. I'm not here to offer advice about evidence. Oh. Yeah, okay, so no. Especially when the evidence in question is so dull. Ah, so that's the real reason. It's not even evidence. It's my armband. Bye! Rude. He's got room for another thing here, so something else. I don't think this is going to prompt it, though. Mr. Sholmes, about this. Tell me, Mr. Naruhodo, is this the first time you've shown me this particular trinket? Oh, I don't really remember, to be honest. If my saying that it's a collar for a breed of miniature canine with a particularly long neck were to precipitate a "here we go again" from your lips, we could be sure it was not the first time. Deduction, you see, my dear fellow, deduction! Yeah, I do remember him saying that. Octome. Maybe there's something else around here? Newspaper? This looks like last week's edition. What's that article circled in red there? It's an advertisement column. It says, "To the Red-Headed League." Red-Headed League? What's that? I don't know. Never heard of it before, but... Something on my face. Clearly, this is something to do with that lively hair. The Red-Headed League article. Advertisement from the newspaper that's titled "To the Red-Headed League" seems somewhat suspicious in nature. Alright, there we go. That's what we're missing. Now we shove it in his face. Here, rub this all up on you. Looks as though someone circled an advertisement in this paper, Mr. Sholmes. To the Red-Headed League. Does that strike you in some way? I was thinking that just maybe it might be related to your bright red hair. So, at last you've learned to apply my methods, Mr. Naruhodo. No, we noticed it immediately, sorry. In the first instance, and quite indispensable observation. Believe me, I could have seen that hair with my eyes shut. So then, allow me to regale you with the details of my latest exploits. I could have seen that hair with my eyes shut. Regale or boast? Well, boast us. Go ahead. Do it. So what is this Red-Headed League, which seems to be the subject of the advertisement you circled? You noticed it in the paper, then? That, my dear fellow, was going to be the source of this month's rent payment. It was? How? According to the advertisement, the Red-Headed League is a distinguished institution of fellows of unspecific governance. In fact, the only condition for becoming a member, having red hair. That doesn't entirely surprise me. Listen to what the lucky redheads received once they've joined. An unconditional salary of £4 a week. Oh my, £4 a week! But why? What are they paying people for? That I don't know. No details are given in the advertisement. But surely every red-headed person in the country would be flocking to join in that case. You'd hope. You're right, Susie. There's no time to lose. I'll put in my application at once. So will I, just on the off chance. That might be stretching a point, I think. The trouble is, they have a fixed number of members, you see. Oh, I see. So once a certain number of people have joined, no one else can. But as luck would have it, one member recently passed away. Wasn't particularly lucky for the redhead in question, I feel, Mr. Sholmes. So he decided to try to join in his place. Correct, I mean, look at me. I've never seen such a red-headed fellow. No. So why did they have to go so wrong? What on earth happened? A blunder, Mr. Naruhodo, though it pains me to admit it.
Why did you do that?
No plan of Sholmes could ever mess up. I don't believe it. Your blunder. What did you actually do to your hair, Mr. Sholmes? I'm glad you asked, Mr. Sato. What you see atop my head is neither dyed nor a hairpiece. I changed the color of my hair overnight. By the wonders of chemistry. Okay. Chemistry? I was conducting some research into a method of rejuvenating spent tea leaves. Why not just grow new tea? Alright, and in the course of my work, I stumbled upon a potion that when taken turns one's hair aflame like red. Would you like to try it? It will make every hair on your body perfectly crimson. I think I'll pass. But, Mr. Sholmes, is it quite safe to drink? Surely it's bad for you, isn't it? Ah, amateurs are always hampered by such fears. Oh, I should never have doubted you, Mr. Sholmes. You mean to say... But of course... To earn £4 per week, one must be prepared to turn a blind eye to a little danger. Yeah, that's what you gotta do to get paid, I guess. That degree of red signals more than just a little danger, surely. So anyway, Hurley left full of confidence yesterday with his new red hair. The park on Lime Street with a red-headed league was interviewing prospective new members. So what went wrong? The whole park was chocked with red-headed folk, like a coaster's orange barrow. I queued for 8 hours solid before at last I reached the front. When the panel of interviewers saw me, they immediately said, "Ah, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, are you in disguise to conduct an investigation?" Yeah, probably doesn't help that you're a known public figure with a known hair color. So naturally, I had no choice but to reply. Shh, don't give me away. After which I could do little else but turn and leave. Then this morning, when I looked into the mirror, irritation stirred within me. So I turned that pair into the police. Oh dear, what a disaster. For Hurley and those two redheads. Ding-a-ling-a-ling. Ah! Here's my guest now, my latest client with money to spend. Oh, I do hope it's an exciting case, Hurley. Remember, Iris, we are at present gripped by the greatest problem known to man. I must be willing to accept any case, no matter how unstimulating. Save locating a runaway, of course. Don't spare anyone's feelings, will you? Okay, check how long you've been following. Oh, what's it? D? Oh, cool. They depreciated the API. I'll have to find a different way to check that info. Wonderful. I don't know. The command I used, the API is busted for it now, so... A good while, for sure, but... Oh, it's not your fault. I had no idea. Now we know it's broken, and I can try to find a different API to make a better command? That runs through this bot, though. So hopefully they'll update the bot, is what I'm saying. Well, yeah. Finally closed Jack the Ripper case after all these years. Was that open? From like the 1800s? Really? Also, Ark, how's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. How you doing? How did you find it? I mean, thanks. Really awesome. How? I have no idea how to check beyond the command. Is it a click? Aha! No. Let's put them in. Oh. Just says on the profile. Alright, yeah. But here it's okay. They can't confirm. Oh, okay. Well, now I know it just says it on the profile. Yay, good to know. Dear, I'm afraid that Hurley can lack a little tact, especially just before the rent is due. Yeah, can't we all? Thwack! Oh, wasn't she a juror? Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, please, oh please. Please find my husband, he's run away. Ah, the one case he didn't want to, okay. They were both from Poland. Oh, okay. To upset me? I beg your pardon. Never mind, a personal matter. My apologies. What exactly are you trying to say, Mr. Norman? I didn't say a word. Come, my dear madam, be seated. Iris, some tea, if you please. Oh, damn. All right. Of course. What's the matter, Mr. Sato? Oh, it's just that gentlewoman. I feel sure I've seen her somewhere before. Very recently. Yes, now you come to mention it. As explained earlier, my name is Evie Vigil. I implore you to take the case, sir. Money is no object. Simply name your figure. Money and wealth are of little consequence to me, madam. That's a lie. You need to pay rent. So, you gotta... Being offered a case to solve is reward enough. No, please take the money, too. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you are the picture of benevolence. I will, of course, make a mental note of your offer, however, for contingent reasons. I trust you will remember your words also. I might inquire, sir. This gentleman and lady would be... Oh, me? Well, what I'm about to tell you, I should like to communicate in the strictest confidence, you understand. Ah, these are my friends. I assure you, you may say before this pair anything which you may say to me. Also, you really don't recognize at least one of us? Like at all? Ah, I see. I can vouch for the gentleman personally. After all, he's hard of hearing. Why did I ever get my hopes up? Power of science gun, clearly. Well, I guess we're hard of hearing now, so, what you gotta say? Forgive me for asking, Miss Vigil, but have we met somewhere before? Quite recently, perhaps. Oh, my! Pshaw, my dear fellow, what is your intention? Clearly you have no ability to differentiate the facial features of the English. If you wish to invite the lady to tea, you must do so in a more gentlemanly fashion. Is it possible that you're the nice young lawyer from the trial I attended last week? Ah, I knew I recognized her. Didn't quite recognize her because she's acting so differently now. Must be very difficult for you as a lawyer, being hard of hearing, I mean. Oh, I'm sure, yeah. I mean, you don't become infamous like that for nothing. Pardon? Oh dear, I'm sorry. Don't worry if you can't hear. It was Ripperly, really, nothing more. Now look what you've started, Mr. Sholmes. Thank you very much. I believe it would be prudent of you to sit quietly in the corner. Yes. Sit quietly in the corner and keep asking questions, yeah. Tell us about your husband, madam. Mr. Vigil, my Daly, is 40 years of age. I have a photograph here. An entirely unremarkable gentleman, by appearance at least. How long have you been married? It'll be 15 years this year. We have a cordial relationship, and my husband's income is more than adequate, so we live comfortably. As it would appear, I need only look at you to know these things. Oh gosh. Your dress is in the latest style, your head clearly regularly groomed, and your eyes are animated. In short, you have no inkling as to why your husband might have disappeared, correct? That's right. He's a kind man with a strong sense of loyalty, and he rather dotes on me. Which would point to the possibility that he has become embroiled in some incident or other. Oh, that's exactly what I fear must have happened, Mr. Sholmes. I'm quite beside myself. My husband's employment is somewhat unusual, you see. What if he's incurred some miscreant's ill will? What exactly is your husband's line of work? He's a warder at the prison. Guard, that is somewhat unusual. So, your husband is a prison warden. That's right, yes. Well, in actual fact, he's the chief warder. Oh, okay. Indeed, I see. Well, chief prison warder certainly qualifies as something of a specialist occupation. Yes, it does indeed. My poor husband must prepare those dreadful punishments and see that they're carried out. Whoops. Whoops. Oh, hit the wrong button. Didn't even mean to hit a button, just went to go put something down. Oh, it's fine. I was distressed by how poor her husband sounds at having to punish people. Alright. Definitely doesn't ring a bell, the name, but it wouldn't. A little ways past. Dreadful punishment. Does she mean capital punishments? And at such times, he must occasionally spend a night or two in the prison dormitory. But for that extra responsibility, he is remunerated more handsomely than the other wardens. Sure, okay. Of course, we make no mention of my husband's work to the neighbors. Yes, I believe your prudence is justified. Tell me, at what prison is your husband engaged? Barclay Prison, Mr. Sholmes. Really? Barclay? Oh, fine establishment. If I'm not mistaken, there is a large cemetery just behind it. Yes, that's correct. Lowgate Cemetery. No. Lowgate Cemetery. The very place we were discussing in court. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable, my dear fellow, and yet undeniable. Sorry, Mr. Sholmes, I'm afraid you've lost me. Ah, pay no heed, madam. Pay no heed. A private matter. This can't really be a coincidence, can it? So, to the matter of your husband's disappearance, when did you realize he was missing? Please try not to laugh. It was yesterday. Sorry, yesterday? That really is recent, laughably so. The truth is, my husband does at times have occasion to spend the night away for his work. It's not at all out of the ordinary for him not to return home at night, but this is different. For him not to make any contact for a whole day, that has certainly never happened before. Alright, let's see if this makes noise. Okay. It's getting a little cold in here, so I turned on my heater, but as of last night, my heater was making some really funky noises. I hit it some WD-40 and it was better, but yeah. I mean, it was definitely just I bought this for under 20 bucks. It has worked, but if it worked for 2 months and died, it'd be like, yeah, that checks out. It was under 20 bucks on Amazon with free shipping. But it seems like it was just, I googled the issue of just literally portable heater screaming sound, because that's what it sounded like. It sounded like it was just screaming at me in the middle of the night. And they were like, try WD-40, it sounds like the bearings are a bit dry. So I tried it, but I figured I'd make mention of it in case it started screaming and picked up on the mic. That's what it is. Excuse me. Yeah, woke me the hell up at like 7 a.m. to be like, ah! And I turned it off. Oh, my dear Daily, whatever could have happened. Daily Vigil. Yes. My dear Miss Vigil, please calm yourself. Now then, have you contacted the police? Why, naturally, but sadly, they refused to listen to my pleas, as my husband has only been missing for 1 day. I was asked to wait patiently at home. In truth, Miss Vigil, I concur with the police. However, let us not be hasty. I see no reason why we should not engage my deductive powers to track your husband down anyway. Oh, thank you, Mr. Sholmes, especially if you'll pay me. And furthermore, let me assure you, a chance to solve the greatest problem known to man for another month has no bearing on my decision. Definitely not. I mean, the ability to solve the greatest problem known to man has never been a bearing on any decision anyone has ever made. Like, I don't know. Ever. No, none whatsoever. Nope. Seek only to put a sweet smile on another Londoner's face. That's really all there is to it. You have my eternal gratitude. I shall pay any sum you care to mention. Any sum? Seek only put this sweet's rent in your landlady's purse. That's all there is to it. Hey, you're under his roof, dude. If he can't pay rent, you're out too. So maybe let it go. Let him try to get rent. It's very important. But that's, fine. Not a sellout, we just gotta pay rent. It's just how it goes. There's nothing you can do about that. Thank you for everything you have shared with us, Miss Vigil. I believe I have all the information I need to begin my investigation. Oh, please report to me soon with good news, sir. Fear not, madam. In a day or two, I shall be contacting you with a heartening report. I'm quite sure. Yes. Everyone goes out and works 9-to-5 jobs just because that's what they want to do with their lives. Everyone. Every single person. It's just like, this is what I want. This is what I enjoy. It definitely has nothing to do with paying rent or surviving. Nah. Even if they weren't getting paid, people do the exact same thing. Yeah, The children yearn for their minds. Yeah, exactly. So soon. Oh, how splendid, Mr. Sholmes. Good news should be delivered early, I always say. If you would be so kind as to leave the photograph of your husband in my possession. The photograph of Mr. Vigil has been entered into the court record. Thank you. Now allow me to show you the door. I can't thank you enough, Mr. Sholmes. You've been simply marvelous. I think it every time, Hurley. But how do you come out with such nonsense? Good news in a day or two, are you sure? I can't be sure, of course, but then I didn't swear on it. I merely gave the good woman some hope. I hope to be able to give her good news, one might say. I don't think that's how she took it. After all, the rent must be paid by the end of day tomorrow. If by that time I've successfully located Mr. Vigil, we shall be mutually relieved. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? Look at me with those pleading eyes. Well, my dear fellow, did you hear the details of my case? Yes, my hearing is surprisingly good, actually. Excellent. And what did you make of it? Well, I was surprised to learn where her husband worked. At Barclay Prison, I mean. Ah, so you noted that. Of course, especially with the mention of Lowgate Cemetery. Barclay Prison is where that notorious man was incarcerated. The Professor. And now a warder from the prison has mysteriously disappeared, it would seem. It's all very peculiar. Indeed, but nothing you can't handle, I'm quite certain, Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry? Run along to the prison and see what you can glean. Would you? It's the prison governor you want. No doubt the man is equally worried. But aren't you going to go yourself? Surely you needn't ask. I can't possibly be seen out with this hair. Enjoy your lurk, 7th. Thanks for hopping by. I hope you enjoyed some Sholmesy goodness. That would tarnish his reputation forever. But didn't you go to Lime Street with that hair? That was quite a different matter. So I leave it in your capable hands. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm rather busy. Okay, of course you are. Well, guess we're going to the prison. Barclay Prison is on the outskirts of London, banking into a lonely burial ground. Its 4 high outer walls loomed quietly before us in the fog. Having requested a meeting, we were shown to the governor's office in the watchtower. That sure is a timepiece. It sure is. 1st November, Barclay Prison Governor's Office. I'm doing pretty good. I mean, we got games to play. I got Monster Hunter in 2 weeks. Gonna have a tasty breakfast tomorrow morning. What's not to like? And I'm slowly selling more cards as I go. I had only 1 card sale today, but starting to, just need 1 person on a TCG player to leave a review. A good review. Then I can do better. It's fine. Honestly, if it goes like a week and nobody does, I'm just gonna contact my brother and be like, "Hey, can you buy a $1 card real quick? I'll pay you back." Ah, large lad. This place is full of hardened criminals. I cannot remember the last time a civilian was doomed here. And you didn't want to talk to an inmate, but to me. Do you ken who I am? I'm the governor, Barry Caden. Barry Caden. Barricading? Yeah, of course. The governor of the prison would be barricaded, I suppose, or barricading others. Oh, yes, it's a pleasure. I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo, defense lawyer. And an Easterner, I see. Does that mean... Yes, I'm a visiting student of law from the Empire of Japan. Japan! Did you see Japan? Yes? Well, there's no any of your kind in here, laddie. Maybe you should try the prison next door, eh? I didn't notice another prison next door, sir. Anyway, I didn't like to be so direct, but I have no intention of speaking with the likes of you suspicious-looking Easterners. Racism. Now get out of my hair. So as soon as he finds out that we're both from Japan, he reacts like this. That surely means... I think it's because of the professor case. I think so too. 10 years ago, Genshin Asogi, also known as the Professor, was incarcerated in this prison. And then, after his execution, he apparently re-emerged from his grave in the cemetery behind the prison. I might have known. You're sniffing around with that case, aren't you? You're agents, eh? Part of the Professor's great web, no doubt. No, not at all. We're just... Get going with you before I punch your lights out. We're going. Clearly the ghost of that killer still haunts this place. We're not gonna get anywhere here. Gotta go for a bit. Alright, cool. Thanks for hopping by. Hope you enjoyed Spinny Manacles Man. Yo. Unless we can somehow prove to this man that there's nothing suspicious about us. Governor Keaton. What are you thinking, Mrs. Sutter? Feel sure that name came up in conversation recently with someone. I was wondering if whoever mentioned him might have some ideas to help us. To think of it, I have the same feeling. Okay, well, not helpful. Yeah, he's not going to talk to us. Examine? Nope. Yeah. Mentioned his name. Honestly, I don't remember. We're just gonna backtrack through stuff. Oh, hello. I was gonna say till something happened, and there's something happening. I don't think I've heard of that. City of Wolves. Oh, that's Fatal Fury. Okay, gotcha. Yep. I didn't know the subtitle. Also had no idea. I gotta see if there's any more hunting horn tweets from my friend. Oh, I was already looking at this monitor anyway. Yeah. But they saw it once and were like, damn, that's a weapon. Yeah, nothing. Okay. Cool. That's Professor Mikadoba over there. Hello, you two. I was just taking a moment to catch up on the world now that I'm unpacked. But where's Judge Shikoku? Yes, he's not the relaxing sort. He's taken himself off to pay his respects to all the legal bigwigs. Having only just arrived in the country today, goodness, he is full of energy. Professor, you mentioned something before. About how you know the prison governor at Barclay Prison. Oh, Governor Caden, you mean? So it is the same man. Father, we must speak with the governor. But he refuses to talk to us. He said we were suspicious Easterners. Well, I'm sure if I accompanied you, it would be a very different story. Oh, would you? That would be wonderful if you have the time now. Sadly, as you can see, I'm very busy at the moment. You're reading a newspaper in a hotel lobby. Shut up. Busy drinking coffee in a comfortable seat? Now, I have rather a lot to prepare for tomorrow, you know? Oh, so sorry. I didn't say that out loud, did I? Mikadoas are alarmingly good at reading people's thoughts. Or it could be that you Naruhodos are alarmingly bad at hiding your thoughts. Yeah, probably 50-50, you know, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Let's not fall out now. I have an idea. What's he writing on that piece of paper? Here's a letter of introduction for you. Hopefully when he sees my name, he'll change his tune. Ah, thank you. Letter of introduction has been entered in the court areas. Good luck then. Well, alright, we got a thing. Let's go show it to him. Note of introduction on our behalf from Professor Mikitoba to the Governor Kaden. Hopefully he'll be willing to talk to us. Professor Mikitoba, wonderful handwriting, doesn't he? This dark-suited young man is not in the least bit untrustworthy. Is it just me, or does that make me sound extremely untrustworthy? I do wish he'd at least call you a nice young man. Really not sure that would help. Oh, looks like this is some sort of steamship ticket. The SS Grouse, first class cabin, 001. Yokohama departure 11th September, London arrival 1st November. Ah, that's the boat that Professor Mikitoba and Judge Jigoku came on from Japan, isn't it? Yes, I think it called at Dunkirk on the northeast of France for a night before finally arriving in Dover. To think it's been almost a year since we arrived in Dover on the SS Bureau. Seems a shame not to keep your tickets and memento of the trip, don't you think? Yes, I agree. I have mine safely in my diary. And I keep mine in my wallet, so I have it with me at all times. Oh, well, how strange. Where could it have gone? Are you like this on purpose, Mr. Naruto? Did I imagine it? Was that comment accompanied by a little sigh? Alright, details updated. Well, let's go back to... yeah. Okay, so if we just show them this, we'll be fine, right? Probably. If you just cast your eyes over this, Governor Kaden... What's this thing? You cannot pull the wool over my eyes. You're a good-for-nothing Japanese student. Mikotoba. That young jock from the forensics laboratory. That Mikotoba? Yes, exactly, him. Oh dear, perhaps I should have said something sooner. I am Yujin Mikotoba's daughter, Susato. Jings! You're the young man's daughter! And you didn't think to mention that before. I do apologize. Well, you'd best take a seat then. Can I offer you a cup of tea, perhaps? I didn't even forget to try one of these wee handcuff biscuits. Of course, handcuff biscuits. Very charming. Your father's influence is nothing short of amazing. I'm bitterly regretting not announcing who I was from the outset now. Warm enough. So then, what can I do for you, Hand? Well, I'm currently investigating a case. It's one of your wardens, you see. He's gone missing. Missing? That's right, it's surely been reported to you as well, being the prison governor. I have heard nothing of the sort. There's no missing persons in my prison. Oh, but how can that be? It's Mr. Daily Vigil, your chief warden. Ah, Vigil? That's right, his wife came to us and asked us to investigate his disappearance. Let's skip the part about him only going missing yesterday for now. I mean, all cookies are good cookies. Handcuff cookies are a weird shape, but it's still a cookie. Also, one second. Had to get my warm slippers. That completes the warm and cozy. Perfect. Alright. Clearly that means something to him. Would you be so kind as to tell us what you know, sir? Aye, of course. You can finally chat with him. Chief Warder Vigil. Excuse me, sorry. We understand that Mr. Vigil is the chief warder here at the prison. Aye, he was. Strong sense of responsibility and dedicated to the job, no doubt about it. He was a fine warder. Yeah, sure is something. Sorry, did you say was? Aye, he doesn't work here no more. He left the job. Oh my. When was this exactly? There's a question. When was it about? Moot? Can it have been much less than 10 years ago now? That doesn't make sense. What? 10 years ago? He stopped working here 10 years ago? Aye, as I minded. Do you ken? I couldn't have heard the fellow's name in all that time. That's a worry if he's gone missing, though. But, Miss Vigil made no mention of it. Think perhaps, Mr. Naruhodo, that his wife simply doesn't know. I think she's unaware that he no longer works here. Governor Caden, can you tell us what happened? Why did Mr. Vigil give up his job here? That's important, is it? Yes, I believe it may be. What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo? Can't help wondering, given that it was 10 years ago. Ah, which is exactly when the professor was being held at this prison. Well, 10 years ago. So Mr. Vigil actually resigned from the position of Chief Warder 10 years ago, you're telling us. What happened to make him leave the job? In actual fact, he didn't leave the job willingly. He had no choice in the matter. You mean he was dismissed? It was after a particular walk. Sorry, a walk? Aye, that word for it in here. A walk to the gallows. An execution. It's the job of the chief warder to prepare the gallows tree and oversee any executions, you see. Only, Vigil did something unthinkable in that last walk he was manning. What did he do? Sorry, but I cannot reveal that information. But I can tell you that it's very rare for a chief warder to be relieved of his post. But why wouldn't Miss Vigil know about it? She appears to be under the impression that her husband still works here. I wouldn't even know anything about that, I'm afraid. Can you perhaps answer one more question about the circumstances of his dismissal? Now what would that be, Anne? That last execution that Mr. Vigil was responsible for overseeing, was it by any chance the professor's? My thoughts exactly. I'm sorry, I really am. But I'm no at liberty to answer that. I see. My father came to Britain all those years ago in order to study forensic medicine. But you seem to have been well acquainted. The dead room, the prison, and the cemetery have a lot to do with one another. After all, they need fresh corpses for forensic research. Do you ken? Yeah, I can imagine. The advancement of medical science isn't always particularly palatable. Your father worked in the laboratory just on the far side of the graveyard. In the basement of St. Sinners, it's still in use today. St. Sinners? It's come up before, I'm sure. Yes, that's right. We've been there. Mikotoba and I often used to ride in a carriage together and negotiate terms. More fresh material, I suppose. Aye, and we used to sit in here for hours and gab on about dissection and all sorts. Ugh, it takes me back. So even he can read his mind. Over a pot of tea and a plate of cuff biscuits, of course. How charming. Where did they go? Well, at a table. He's a good fellow, your father. Reliable and dead set on his work. But I'm afraid I'll never understand you Japanese. This is a Genshin Isogi, I suppose. Well, can I tell you anything else? Thank you so much for your time, Governor. No, one more for your way ahead. Sure, I have it here somewhere. Ah, found it. Here, take this as a wee souvenir of your visit to the prison. What is it? That's Vigil's dismissal notice. It's 10 years old now, of course. Oh my, are you sure? Aye, it's no trouble at all. It's not the original mind. Vigil's dismissal notice has been entered into the court record. Thank you very much, Governor Caden. Well, he returned. Do me a favor and never come back here. That case is closed. Sure, yeah. That's why it keeps seeming to be relevant over and over again. Because it's closed. Well, I think we ought to return to Baker Street for the time being. Yes, I agree. We need to report back to Mr. Sholmes with what we found out about Mr. Vigil. Which is nothing concrete yet. What will he tell Mrs. Vigil, I wonder? Well, let's see. I don't know what he's going to do with the info we've got. It's definitely not enough to get paid yet. First November, Sholmes this week. We're back. Hello, you two. Oh, wrong voice. Thought you'd be back before long, so I baked some scones for us all. Ah, so that's what that delicious smell is. Greetings, my dear fellows. Seems in the time that we weren't here, Sholmes blew himself. You returned a great deal sooner than I was anticipating. Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Thank you. Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Say nothing. Your thoughts are written all over your faces. In any case, turns out that it may have been advisable to test my hair color restoration tonic before application. Oh my. Right, tell me, what color, or what of our warder friend? Have you garnered some new information? Oh, yes. Something very surprising, in fact. Though it's not a patch on your hair, to be honest. It most certainly isn't, but still, we discovered that... Sholmes! Sholmes is anime, yeah. Drop everything, Sholmes. This is more important. Gina. I can't Adam and Eve it. What's happened? Clearly, a very grave matter indeed. For Miss Lestrade made no mention of my hair whatsoever. It's the boss. What do you mean? Inspector Gregson. The boss is... He's dead. What? No. They just found his body. Shot with a pistol. What? Wait, he died and it wasn't from the fact that he's eaten nothing but one infinite piece of fried fish for all the time we've known him, for like a year? It's not just cardiac arrest? But, Inspector Gregson? He was murdered. No, not Grexy. Come in, my dear girl. Tell us the whole story. Well, damn. Yeah, I mean, without him to eat them, they're going to spread infinitely. That's not great either. I mean, at some point it probably stops world hunger, but at another point it probably starts going bad before you can get it anywhere useful. So I'm not really sure. Are you serious, Gina? Inspector Gregson was. He was really shot? I don't know much about what happened myself yet. They're still there, investigating the scene. Where did this take place? A little rented room in a building full of flats on Fresno Street. The outskirts of town, nowhere near his home. He was perhaps investigating a case then. Thing is, no one at the yard knows nothing about no case around there. Oh, how strange. The boss he was so good to me. I know I ain't up to much yet, but one day I was gonna show him. I was gonna show him I'd become a proper detective. Oh, Ginny. I can't believe it, yeah. So who did this? Do you have any idea who the culprit is? I got him already. Already? Caught the shooter so soon. A witness reported something was going on. The boys got straight down there and took care of it. Who? What awful person did this? I still can't believe it myself. Gina? It was the Reaper. Oh? Wait a minute! You don't mean they've arrested Lord Van Zeeks for it? That's right. The Reaper bloke's gone and shot the boss. No. Lord Van Zeeks. Like, they worked together, and I don't think they loved each other, but I don't think they would murder each other. Are you quite sure, Mr. Stroud? It's Barrick Van Zeeks the police have arrested. I saw him with my own eyes in the interview room at the yard. I don't believe it. But there were witnesses, and they're all saying it was him. So you mean there were actually multiple witnesses? They heard the gunshot, apparently. When our lot got on the scene, it was only the boss and that Reaper bloke in the room. There's no way Lord Van Zeeks would have taken Gregson's life, right? I just don't believe it. I don't believe it either. Thank you for informing us, Miss Lestrade. This really is most terrible news. I'm dreadfully sorry. What are you saying sorry for? You didn't do nothing. Well, anyway, I'm taking a cab over to the scene right now. Please come at all. As soon as you can. You gotta help. It's a detective's lot to appear wherever some sinister plot is unfolded. Little wonder we all look haggard. Sometimes these things are almost too much for the nerves. Mr. Sholmes. What use is there being a great detective if I fail to see something like this coming, How could I let this happen to Gregson? To Gregson! Mr. Naruhodo, I shall leave at once to begin my investigations. Of course, yes. We will too. It would be helpful if you could talk to Mr. Reaper and see what you can glean. I'm sure you were intended to do that anyway, so till later then. Inspector Gregson dead. Lord Van Zeeks arrested. Bruno, Susie, I've called you handsome. It's waiting outside. I've called you a handsome. It's waiting outside. Thanks, Iris. Shall we see Miss Susato? Yes. Location. Salon. I don't think we have anything else to do here, so why not? First November, room on Fresno Street. It's cold in here again. Come on, don't scream at me. Alright, started up smooth. Cool. This really is an out-of-the-way part of London. Not many people find their way down to this back street. So this dust-ridden, rented old room is where it happened then. So this is where poor Inspector Gregson lost his life. Yes, and the police are already hard at work investigating, it seems. I don't see Mr. Sholmes anywhere, though. Perhaps his investigations have taken him elsewhere. Oi, what do you think you're doing there? Every one of them drawers has got to be taken right out so you can look underneath it all. I want the space above the ceiling checked. Don't forget to look inside the chimney stack, too. Blimey, ain't you lot ever gone over an house before? House? Going over a house looking for dough when the owners are out of town? Gina's obviously got some unique investigative techniques she wants everyone to adopt. Oh, so you turned up at last, mind you. I ain't been here long myself. Hello again, Gina. Sholmes has only just left. You're lucky you missed him. He went prancing around in here, pointing at stuff and flicking that hat of his, then just scampered. Oh, he's finished investigating already. What do you mean? Excuse me. Excuse me. Yeah, he didn't stop to say nothing to no one, not even me. Gina, would you mind if we investigated too? Listen, Oda. You're a lawyer, right? Yes. Why? Well, you're not thinking of trying to help the Reaper bloke, are you? Oh, poor Gina. She's never going to forget, is she? That trial will haunt her forever. Gina, if you don't mind me saying, if Lord Van Zieks really is responsible for this crime, he will be duly and fairly judged in court. I suppose you're right. Yeah. Go on then, Odo. Get investigating. I want to know the truth about what really happened here. Thank you, Gina. That's what we're good at. Sometimes. Well, let's see if she has anything to say for us, actually. She does. A bunch. Okay. Gina, what was Inspector Gregson doing here in the first place? That's what I want to know. It's, what, half a year since I got out of the plane? That's when I decided to give up my diving and become a detective instead. Oh yes, Mr. Sholmes twisted the inspector's arm to agree to take you on as an apprentice, didn't he? Something like that, I think. Anyway, the point is, I didn't really know much about the boss till then. And it turns out, he's a bit of a legend at the yard. Goodness, really? They say he managed to solve some really tricky case just like that. He did. Yep, and ever since then, he started going out with all sorts of investigations. No one else at the yard even knows what half the cases he's working on are, apparently. It's not how it's supposed to work, is it? So what was that legend inspector doing in a dingy little room like this? I know he had a lot of respect for the Reaper and all. And look where that landed him. Respect for the Reaper? In what way? I heard him say as much. Take my hat off to that fella. Were his words. Not how the general public feels, is it? Most people are terrified of the Reaper. Yeah, the boss said that's exactly why he respected the bloke. Didn't realize Gregson held the Reaper in quite such high regard. It said something else to me and all. I didn't need to worry about the Reaper, because he only goes after people what are bad. It kind of set my mind at ease when he said that. Right. What is this place then? Does anyone live here? Apparently it's being rented by some cove called Hugh Boone. Hugh Boone? It's sort of here today, gone tomorrow name of that, isn't it? Yeah, it's what we call an unidentified person. We haven't been able to get in touch with them. Let's see, well, judging from appearances, I have to say this place hasn't been lived in for a long time, if ever. Alright, all the lads from the yard piled down to get stuck into the investigation. There's so little here, no one knew what to do with themselves. I do wonder. Yes, Mr. Sato? Well, could it be that this Hugh Boone is in fact Inspector Gregson himself? What? How could that be? Well, if he was investigating on his own, it's quite possible that this was in fact some kind of secret office of his. I'd never even considered that. Nice work, Suze. We're actually following a line of inquiry like that ourselves. You are? If you look around the room, you'll see there's a few things that hint at it. We should really investigate this place in detail. Probably. I mean, after we continue talking. See, that's where the poor inspector was found. Over there. Yeah, that's right. They said it was a single bullet what did him in. Apparently the bullet went right through him and stuck that candle tree on the wall. Oh yes, it's blown one of the candles apart completely. And the gun used there is there on the floor. It's the Reaper's, isn't it? No denying that. What? Really? How do you know that? Take it easy. I don't know what to do with myself when you stare at me with them big wide eyes. I'm only saying what I've learned. I don't know much about guns myself. There's some bigwig lawmaker or whatever who said so. Why don't you ask him? Bigwig lawman, is it? Anyway, Fresno Street runs along under the window there. There's some street sellers just outside as you heard them the other night. There's some street sellers just outside what heard the gunshot. No, but I don't recall seeing anyone outside. Yeah, they've all been taken down to the yard for questioning, that's why. Talking about the yard's legendary inspector here, after all, they'll be getting a grilling. Do you think we might be able to speak with those street sellers ourselves? Doubt it. Lads at the yard will just want to know what you're scooping for, and you'll be up to a grilling and all. So we can't interview the witnesses then. Shame. I guess we'll just have to wait for the inevitable being in court. An empty fireplace makes a room feel even colder than it would be otherwise, doesn't it? It's thick with dust, look. I think it would be fair to say that it hasn't been used in a very long time. In other words, whoever lived in this room must have been extremely hardy in cold weather. Or nobody lived here at all, and merely visited when the occasion arose. I wouldn't like to say which is more likely. But no, that's right. It's one or the other. Oh, it's a photograph stand. I suppose it must be a picture of one of Inspector Gregson's family members. What? What's the matter? Your eyes look like they're about to pop out of your head. They are. Look, Mr. Naruto. Quickly. Why do I feel like this woman is familiar somehow? How do you never recognize her? Of course she's familiar. We met her only this morning. Ah! It's Miss Vigil. This makes no sense. Why would there be a picture of Miss Vigil in here? be frank, I don't think I've ever been more stumped. Sorry to say, I have no idea either. The framed photograph has been entered into the court record. We've got our board. I'll start with the board. Why not? Keep it going. Looks like some sort of notice board or something. It's absolutely covered in scraps of paper. Ah, Mr. Naruhodo, look! This, you mean? It's an autopsy report, isn't it? These are case notes here, and details of prison inmates. Yes, in fact, they're all the sort of documents that only a detective could normally acquire. What on earth went on in this room? Some old newspaper cuttings. Ah, and this one here. Oh yes, the advertisement, you mean. To the Red-Headed League. But why? What's that doing here? Whoever occupied this room was clearly interested in it for some reason. Excuse me. Oh, Inspector, sir. Oh man, he can't possibly be able to focus on the investigation when he's so upset. Excuse me. Sorry, sir. Can't see a thing, sir. Too many tears, sir. Right. Perhaps I'd better leave you to your work then. This is presumably the murder weapon then. Oh my, is it real, I suppose? I think so. Guns are so rare in Japan, I really know very little about them. There's one way to know for sure, Mr. Naruhodo. Fire a shot! No, don't pick up a gun at a crime scene and fire a shot. I thought that would be, self-explanatory, but if you have to be told, consider this me telling you. After that, I'd be looking for a skilled lawyer to represent me in court. So it's safer just to ask someone who might know, I think. Killer's revolver has been entered into the court record. Oh, what is this? It would appear to be a little model policeman. Rather charming, isn't it? In a way. Seeing as it's on the floor here, do you think it belonged to Inspector Gregson? It's a little hard to imagine Lord Van Zeeks playing with something like that. It's a little hard to imagine Gregson playing with something like that, so... Either way, it's only about 8 centimeters tall. It could have fallen out of someone's pocket, I suppose. I think we should record it as evidence, just in case. Yes, I agree. It is a rather delightful, after all, in a way. Please spin the court record. Ever since we came in here, I can't take my eyes off of this thing. Oh, funnily enough, neither can I. It's a hairpiece, isn't it? It is a bright red hairpiece. Yes, you do. I suppose the fact that it's right there next to where the body was found means we have to accept that Inspector Gregson wore wigs, does it? And it's such a flame-colored red, too. Well, I mean, he might have needed money? Everybody could use, a bit of monthly money. Yes, it's a color we've come across very recently elsewhere, isn't it? Exactly. This is a vital clue, I'm sure of it. Aha, red hairpiece. That's only a second, just adjust this. There we go. Red hairpiece entered the court record. So we're getting clues. Top one of the candles in this candle holder has been completely blown off. Yes, there's wax splattered on the wall behind. Look. Suppose suppose if a bullet had hit it, it does seem likely that the bullet hit the candle. I mean, maybe likely, maybe protagonist syndrome, but I don't know. Why was that candlestick taller than the other two before it got shot? I'm sure that won't play into things, so it's fine. Having first passed through the inspector's body. Ah, now that wax on the wall looks like blood to me. Candelabra has been entered in the court record. Let's take a look at the court record. We just added a few things. Let's examine them. Starting here. Chief Warder Daily Vigil is relieved of his post with immediate effect for having violated Clause 132 of Her Majesty's Code of Conduct for Prisons. Okay, so we've got a little bit of reason as to why. We don't know what Clause 132 is, but he didn't... Oh. All rights to redundancy pay and other financial benefits are fully revoked. Reason for dismissal: aiding and abetting the escape from this prison of convict blank just prior to his execution. Details of this escape are still being investigated. Full cooperation with inquiries will be expected. Indications are that a jailbreak plot was conceived prior to the convict's incarceration. It's believed that the convict engaged in some form of negotiation with prison staff in order to secure assistance. Full disclosure or information regarding these negotiations will be demanded. Okay. Don't think of anything weird here. Can't even move it. Murder weapon. Suppose this must have been the murder weapon. Oh my. It is real, I suppose. I think so? Guns are so rare in Japan, I really know very little about them. Perhaps someone more familiar with firearms could shed a light on things here. Got it. We don't know. Well, that is a small policeman figure. The helmet of this charming policeman appears to be a little worse for wear. Not convinced about the charming part, but yes, you're right. The head part looks like it's been fairly heavily manhandled. Almost as if somebody has enjoyed twisting it around and around for fun. Shall we try twisting it around and around too, for fun? Ah, what's that? It appears there was some sort of key. It's tiny though, it couldn't be a key for a door, not of that size. So what is it for, I wonder? Can't find anything out of place. This looks like some sort of key. Yes, it does. A very tiny and simple key. What's the little key doing inside a figurine of a policeman in the first place? What's it for? I don't know. Guess we'll find something that has a tiny keyhole, maybe. Nah, that's a red leak. Can't find anything out of place. It's just it's exactly what it says it is. Ah, there's some black marks here, look. Yes, they look like some sort of scorch marks. So perhaps the bullet struck the candle here, do you think? It's only that one candle that's been cracked in half, it seems. Yes, I think you might be right. Firearms are rarely used by criminals in Japan, so I'm afraid I'm not particularly knowledgeable about them. Nothing. It's all the stuff we got. Suppose this is where the victim... That's right. The rope is laid around the body to show exactly how it was found. Why rope instead of... Why rope instead of chalk? Well, Inspector Gregson himself has already been taken away. And would probably be under Dr. C's scalpel by now, without what had happened last week. Hey, real fish. Delicious. Useful, probably. From the shape of the rope, it would appear that the inspector was curled up in a ball. Oh, yeah, maybe wood floor is not super great for that. Maybe. Maybe it would have smeared the blood, depending on how fresh it is. Feeling alright, Mr. Naruhodo? You look like you've just seen a ghost. I know it's just a rope, but, well, it conjures up quite a terrifying image. That's all. Especially with that bloodstain next to it. Oh, I do understand. In some ways, what we picture in our minds can be even worse than reality. Susanoo-san is so strong, though. She's taking this far better than I am. Somebody's very haphazardly nailed these boards over the broken glass, haven't they? You couldn't even really call it a window anymore. Well, remember the window in Mr. Natsume's room? That was totally blocked up with bricks. This one does at least still let in some light, so you could say nothing more about it. Starving to feel even more sorry for Mr. Natsume now. Starting to, I mean. Hello again, sir. Excuse me. If you're looking down on us from the great beyond, Inspector, don't worry. We'll look after things at the yard. Interrupted some deep thoughts there. Oh, damn it. I was trying to hit the port. Okay, so it's in here. Inmates, in fact, all sorts of documents that only a detective could know. Yeah, we did that, didn't we? Yeah. Some little newspaper cuttings. Ah, here's this one. Yeah, we did see this one. What am I doing? Desk is done. We should probably talk to him. 1st November, local prison, cell 1. There he is, Lord Van Zeeks behind bars. So it's true, he really was arrested. He's sitting with his back to the wall, reading something. I don't think he's noticed us. Lord Van Zeeks. India. Really windy. Fancy meeting you here. Hold on. I think we're under a wind advisory. Check weather real fast. Yes. Wind advisory until 6 p.m. Monday. We'll do it. Stupid cat in this music. Every time. Yep, okay. Blustery night. That's fine. The last place on Earth I'd like to be. The last person on Earth I'd like to see. Couldn't very well not come. We heard what happened. That Inspector Gregson was... Go home. This has nothing to do with you. But... Forgive me, Lord Van Zeeks, but I must disagree. Inspector Gregson was very helpful to us on a number of occasions. We're indebted to him, at the very least. We owe it to him to find out the truth about his death. You must help us with our investigation, please. There's really nothing I can tell you. What were you just reading at the back of the cell there? Was it something related to the case? This. The yard isn't quite so cavalier with its information as to share case details with a suspect. This is a letter from an old acquaintance. Oh, who might that be? Someone you know as it happens. Albert Harebrain. Of course, yes, I keep forgetting they went to the same university. I would like to read my correspondence in peace, so let's get this over with, shall we? What is it you want to know? Strange. I mean, let's face it, Lord Van Zieks never minces his words. But they seem to have less bite than usual somehow. Well, converse it is. See what he's got. What happened? If we can ask about his personal letter, and we're going to have to. This tells your side of the story, Lord Van Zieks. What happened? How much do you already know? We know that the inspector was shot dead in a small rented room on Fresno Street, and that you were found there by the police when they arrived at the scene and immediately arrested. We were told that there was nobody else in the room, and that some witnesses heard the gunshot. And you're well informed. There's really nothing I can add. The truth is, I don't know what happened myself. Well, the gunshot obviously didn't fire the gun, did you? I'm not in the habit of shooting the people I work alongside. I also heard the noise, however. Before I had a chance to investigate, I was apprehended by the arriving officers, so he doesn't actually know what happened. I might ask, what were you doing in that place to begin with? I don't need to answer that. Oh. After all, you're not representing me. It's going to need a lawyer, though. Yeah, your defense. Who's going to be representing you in court, Lord Van Zieks? No one. Anyone other than you, I should imagine. There's not a single person who's going to rush to defend him. I mean, A, it looks really bad for him, so a lot of people wouldn't defend him for that. And B, it's the Reaper of the Bailey. Who would defend him? Would I be right in assuming that you have no representation as yet? Defense lawyers shy away from any trial involving the Reaper, as I'm sure you know. But this is different. In my career, of all the defendants I've prosecuted, only 19 have ever been acquitted. Of them, 16 subsequently died in mysterious circumstances. Questions will be asked now. Surely not. I assure you, no defense lawyer will want to touch me at the end of a bargain or bridge pole. But you didn't actually have anything to do with those people's deaths, did you? It's been 10 years now that I've been known as the Reaper of the Bailey. Believe me, nobody wants to know the true identity of this killer more than I. However, it seems things may come to a head before I have the chance to uncover the truth about that. What does he mean by that? Oh, Professor Harebrain's letter. After the trial, Professor Harebrain was supposed to go straight back to Germany, I thought. This is the letter to inform me of his safe arrival at home. I arranged his passage by sea and rail. As a relief, I must say, he should now be beyond the reaches of the Reaper. Because the Reaper doesn't follow people abroad, you mean? Yes, so it seems. Your stooped little Japanese friend, for example. You told me he was keeping well in Japan when I inquired the other day. Yes, that's right. He's an author now, happily working in Tokyo. So Professor Harebrain is safe back in Germany now. He is. Guess that's all the info we're getting now. So, it appears our conversation has run dry. It's a 2-second silence, that's all. That is dry enough for me. Well, in any event, if you'll excuse me now, I wouldn't like to detain you. I was wondering, Lord Van Zieks, if you'd like, I'd be happy to advocate for you.
It's ramen.
Welcome back, Ramen. We're having an awkward talk with our friendly rival, who has no representation currently, for a murder. You trust me, do you? Yes. Heard you speak many times in court. I've seen how you treat people, so I'm quite sure that you would never have taken another's life. It's just, my feelings can't be used as evidence in court of law, sadly. It's a very gracious offer. However, I trust no one. What? Not the police, not the judiciary, and not you Nipponese. But please, I have no intention of engaging your services. The chasm between us is just too wide and too deep, it seems. Yeah, exactly. Even Edgeworth, I'd appreciate it if you don't visit again. Then neither of us will waste any more time. Well, perhaps we need to dig a little deeper and find out more about Lord Van Zieks and what happened to Inspector Gregson. Alright, bye. Yeah, I didn't think so, but... He's still there, but I'm pretty sure we already talked to him. Alright. 1st November, British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice Office. You've made good time. Took an express train back to London. It's really getting windy out. Like, I can hear it through the game and headphones. You can hear Lord Strongheart, can you? Yes, it sounds as though he's talking to someone. Oh. Is everything in place? I had a private compartment on the train so I could check all the paperwork. It's Kazuma-sama. Ah, your timing is impeccable. It is. No doubt you have heard the sickening news about the Reaper's latest devilry. Yes. I'm sure you don't believe it, of course, though, Lord Strongheart. That Lord Van Zieks could have done such a thing to Inspector Gregson. I believe only in the facts. The facts in this case point to one thing. The unavoidable accusal of Lord Van Zieks for this crime. We must bring charges against the Reaper for taking the life of our legendary detective. Oh no, surely not! It's a truly regrettable situation. Tomorrow, the Forensic Science Symposium finally begins. At the very least, though, we can show the world our justice system's swift and equitable processes. So does that mean the trial is tomorrow? Precisely. In fact, this is a fine opportunity for introductions. Hey, we've met Kazuma. Ah, but of course, you're already acquainted, aren't you? Mr. Usogi here will be present at tomorrow's proceedings, leading the prosecution. Wait, what? Kazuma. So I'm sure you're aware he's a very capable practitioner of law. Yeah, Kazuma-sama, a prosecutor. Sure you can imagine that tomorrow's trial will be closely followed all over London. In fact, no. People all over the Empire will be watching closely to see how it unfolds. There's no salvation for anyone in a trial prosecuted by the Reaper of the Bailey. And now, the Reaper himself must stand at the dock. Quite so. The public wants answers about the Reaper. Answers about how and why those who escaped conviction subsequently died mysterious deaths. Can't hit a good balance with this heater. I turn it on, it gets too hot. This one start making this. Not good. Turn it off, then it's too cold. And I've only got it on medium. It's at medium and high, but Lord Van Zeeks firmly denies any involvement in such matters. And there have been thorough investigations that have proven him to be innocent. That's certainly true. Or it had been, at least until now. Ah. No, tomorrow's trial will mark the start of a new chapter in our country's great judicial history. Man, he got a lot riding on this trial now that the last trial we screwed up really badly and set his plans back like a decade, where I'm sure he's not in any way angry at us for doing that whatsoever. There's a lot riding for him on this next trial too. I'm sure it's fine. I do think it's pretty funny though that he keeps sending us on these trials and then we keep doing well and he's like, that's gonna set me back like a decade. It's like, you sent us there. Oh, absolutely. Well, no. It's not the crippling, it's the emboldening. They get their power back. They get to actually sell fish and chips to people again. Instead of one guy just going and having infinite fish. He never really touched the chips much. Was it the newspaper or was it the Gregson? So, Cosimo will be prosecuting tomorrow. That's right. But he's a defense lawyer, Lord Strongheart. Accomplished young law practitioners cannot pick and choose their roles. And imagine what it would mean for the prosecution to know the strategies commonly employed by the defense. A devastating combination, wouldn't you agree? Absolutely. I have no doubt at all that Cosimo will be razor sharp as a prosecutor. But why Cosimo-san? There are surely many other highly skilled practitioners in Great Britain. It was a personal request. I asked to be assigned to the trial. You asked for this? But why? It'll all become clear tomorrow. I'm guessing you intend to stand for the defense, don't you? Although, the Reaper appears to be turning down all offers of representation. Surprised such a personal request would have been upheld. Seems unprecedented, quite exceptional in fact. You're quite right, Miss Mikitoba. Tomorrow's trial will be unprecedented and exceptional in every way. After all, the accused is one of Britain's greatest prosecutors, the pride of the Empire. It would be unwise to give the public a reason to perceive it as the judiciary closing ranks. So that's why you're happy to let a foreigner handle the prosecution. Ryunosuke, let's see how your skills have been honed. After practicing law in this land for so many months. Cosmo, I don't understand why you're being so hostile to me now. This isn't going to end well. My friend. I'm trying to figure, like... Presumably, he doesn't have amnesia anymore. Good. But it's very weird that he's working against the guy who was his mentor. And seems to be working with Strongheart. I have my doubts about Strongheart, but also you'd think Ryunosuke wouldn't work with someone shady? He's not super shady, but he's just a little, you know, just a little. Just that little... Oh, yeah, it's the pigeons. It's the doves. That's what it is. Yeah, uh-huh. The doves are mind control doves. Yeah, it checks out. Which is why he's wearing a white suit now. I mean, yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. It was so obvious it was right there. Mm-hmm. Obviously, he's the new Sith apprentice. Oh yes, we noticed that there was a gun at the scene of Inspector Gregson's death. Do you know if it belongs to Lord Van Zieks? That would be a question of for the lead detective investigating the scene. Well, the thing is, she wasn't sure, so she told me I should ask somebody higher up who might know. That's right, Mr. Naruhodo. Be direct. Certainly a model that is issued to all personnel involved in law enforcement, yes? Which includes prosecutors, as I'm sure you can imagine. In that case, it could actually belong to the victim. No, Gregson had his gun on his person. What about Lord Van... Sorry, wrong voice. What about Lord Van Zieks? He claims it's currently not in his possession. What? It's the prequel Pigeon Girlfriend. Ah, yes, of course. Yeah, it's good to have help in these trying times, definitely. According to his story, he lost it. In short, it's more than a little suspicious. But just because the gun in question is the same type as the defendant's is no proof that it's actually his. No, of course not. Nevertheless, the situation is grave for Lord Van Zieks. I don't know if there's anything I can rub on him. Hello there, friend. Sorry for all the worry I've caused you, but it'll be all right now. Is your memory completely returned? Yes, completely. I remember everything, including what I was coming here to do. Right! Kazuma-sama. Can't tell you how happy I am to see you alive and well like this. But how did you come to be here in London when you were suffering from amnesia? You know, all roads lead to London. Yeah, you know, there can only be one or two places to center the universe, and he just left one of them. It was the voice. This past year, I've been hearing it in my head constantly, saying the same thing over and over. That's not great. Go to London. That's where your destiny awaits. It was that voice that guided me here to London. I'm so sorry for what's happened. Anyway, my memory might have returned to me, but there's something that won't return to the way it was before. Huh? What do you mean? I'm a prosecutor now, so I'm sure our paths will cross again very soon. There is no destiny? Psh, bull crap, there's always destiny. Uh-huh. Ah, yes, had to have a Kirito cosplay. Doesn't look like we're going to glean much more here. Well, thank you very much, Lord Strongheart. Remember, tomorrow's trial will go down in our Empire's history. There's much you could learn from the public gallery. Sorry to have taken up so much of your time. We'll see ourselves out.
Hold it!
Hey. Before you go, Ryunosuke. Oh, what is it, Cosmo? I just wanted to thank you. Kazuma-sama, what? You took my determination to heart and brought it with you over the ocean in my stead. And you carried out my role to perfection. You always were intent on studying British law in order to change our own justice system. It was your dream, and Mr. Naruhodo didn't want that to die with you. Yes, but I had another purpose for coming here. Oh? I actually have a favor to ask. Which is? What's the job system? Oh yeah, of course, duh. This trial I'll be prosecuting tomorrow. I'd like you to be there to see how it ends. Right in front of me, as the defense counsel. Why? What is this all about? I know you have what it takes. But Lord Van Zieks would never put his fate in my hands. On the contrary, he recognizes your talent. He does? It's not easy to see behind the facade sometimes. Here, have a look at this. That's the Lord Van Zieks and Inspector Gregson. A photograph that must have been taken some time ago by the looks of it. And who's the third person? Definitely not his brother who got murdered. It was displayed very prominently in the detective's office. Gregson's office, you mean? Yes, what I'm trying to say is, if you really think you can trust the Reaper, you might find that some straight talking makes him take a different view. Take it. Gregson's photograph has been entered into the court record. Yeah, who's this guy? He looks just like him. I don't understand. And this picture was taken long ago, back in a time where he might have still been alive. I don't understand. Why are you giving me this? Just hurry, Ryunosuke. Visiting hours at the prison are almost over. What are you doing, Kazuma? This game won't be cool if we aren't fighting each other in the final match. It's gotta be us in the final case. Get stuff done. You know, it's very important. 1st November, local prison, cell 1. Lord Van Zieks is still reading that letter, he says out loud. We've been gone quite some time, though. Either he's an incredibly slow reader, or it's an incredibly long letter. He might even be able to read English faster than he can. I was intending to ignore you entirely, but I can't turn a deaf ear to such an insulting weeping news. Oh, sorry. Didn't think you'd hear that. I had the case notes brought to me in secret. I was reading them to pass the time. Yes, we heard that your trial is set for tomorrow. Which is none of your business. So, have you found a lawyer? How many times must I reiterate the same thing? This has nothing to do with you. In other words, no. We were just talking to Lord Strongheart, and the prosecutor for your trial has been decided. I expected nothing less, though I have no idea who it is. It's going to be Kazuma Asogi. Asogi? That made the color drain from his face. Huh. Well then. It seems I'm going to have to engage in conversation with you again after all. It's not answer with being on trial. Yeah. Well, let's chat. 10 years ago, my older brother, who was the director of prosecutions at the time, was murdered. And the killer, as you know, is a visiting student from the Far East. Not a single day goes by when I don't curse the name Asogi. Genshin Impact was Kazuma-sama's father. So what cruel twist of fate is this now, 10 years later? The man's son is to crucify me in some kangaroo court. I still don't understand why Lord Strongheart apprehended or apprenticed Kazuma to you. It's what he does. No doubt he knew of the young man's true identity from the outset. What could he have been hoping to achieve? Let's not forget that it was only 8 days ago that Cosmo recovered from its amnesia. Why would Lord Strongheart assign this trial to somebody like that? Asogi. That name is the very epicenter of my epitome of my bane. The bane that is you Nipponese. Right, your hatred of all us Japanese. Oh, he gambled everything on Genshin Impact and lost. He didn't get his waifu. Now he hates Japan. I'd only just been appointed as prosecutor when it happened 10 years ago. My brother Clint, the director of prosecutions, was hunting down a mass murderer. The so-called professor, assigned to the investigation and as his partner, was a certain visiting student dispatched from Scotland Yard. That was Genshin Impact. Exactly. I developed a deep respect for the man. He seemed noble-minded and chivalrous to the extreme to me. But none of us saw the true nature of the man. So I lost everything when it happened. My esteemed brother, the people I believed in, and any semblance of right prevailing over wrong. Oh, how awful. To avenge my brother, I prosecuted in Asogi's trial. It wouldn't ordinarily have been allowed, but I beleaguered the ascribed prosecutor until he consented. What do you mean by the ascribed prosecutor? The man in charge of the professor case inquiry, Lord Mael Strongheart. Wait, what? Lord Strongheart? Was a highly accomplished prosecutor, but he agreed to relinquish the trial to me and act as my advisor instead. Is that the first time we've heard his first name, or am I just forgetful? I mean, I'm definitely forgetful, but am I just forgetting? Have we heard his first name before? I've forgotten, okay. I also don't remember if I mentioned then that clearly he's the heart of the Maelstrom, obviously. Since that time, he's the one person to whom I felt indebted. Said the last time too. Yeah, that checks out. Can always rely on Viper to be Viper. Sure. Oh, nope. Sure, he must have seen your zeal for the case and recognized your potential as a prosecutor. I mean, honestly, that must have been our first introduction to him in the first game, I assume, right? Because he wouldn't have popped up after that until now. So that must have been like the start of this. So that's my excuse, and I'm sticking with it. But also, yeah, that checks out. Anyway, time passed, but then earlier this year, who should arrive in London but you? Ah. And, of all things, it's a lawyer. I felt your animosity the first time I ever faced you in the courtroom. Your obvious, deep loathing of us Japanese. I kept telling myself it was illogical. But for so many years, that hatred festered inside me. I could no longer control it. And I can understand why, now I know the history. But in the same way that I've long felt the Nipponese to be the bane of my life, to Kazuma Asogi, I am the bane of his, the Reaper who sent his father to the gallows. He's looking for revenge, and he intends to take it in court tomorrow. That sounds bad, yeah. Gregson's transfer to the Paris Police Prefecture had finally been arranged for the coming month. But he'll never make it to France now. It's a tragedy. Ah yes, come to think of it, he did mention that he was months away from retirement. Something about that, didn't he? I wonder, does it happen often? Being transferred internationally, I mean? It's the first time I've ever encountered it. Oh. Paris police welcoming an English detective is almost inconceivable. I can't imagine what kind of magic Gregson must have worked to put that arrangement in place. Sounds like that mystery has even the Reaper perplexed. Afraid to say that we were very ignorant about Inspector Gregson's standing. We hear that he was considered something of a legend at Scotland Yard. Again, it was 10 years ago that he first made a name for himself, by uncovering a decisive piece of evidence that exposed the professor's identity. Excuse me. If it wasn't for Gregson's singular approach to the case, the discovery would never have been made. What sort of approach? When my brother's life was taken, the inspector pushed for a full autopsy. Oh my, 10 years ago? Why, is that so surprising? Autopsy is considered a desecration of the body at the time, and rarely performed. And my brother was, of course, a noble that made the idea of it even more unthinkable. But something Gregson dug up in his investigations made him determined it was necessary. His powerful conviction somehow influenced the House of Lords, and as a result, I could avenge my brother's death. So, you must have had great confidence in the inspector's abilities then. And it's even more inconceivable that you would have taken his life. I don't have confidence in anyone. Oh. And I'm sure Gregson felt the same way. I have no doubt he thought of me only as the ominous Reaper, just like the rest of London. What really went on between Lord Van Zieks and Gregson, I wonder? What was the true nature of their relationship, lovers? That does remind me. We've been watching Brave Bang, Brave Bravern. Kind of just 2 episodes per weekend, because they want to watch it with me and I want to watch it with them. And I only really have meals with everyone here on the weekend. We're pretty deep into it now. And while I won't go into any spoilers, because I really think people should watch it if they haven't, we have encountered a character that was literally too gay to die. Legitimately, canonically, for realsies, too gay to die. The polar opposite of most trope gay characters. Nope. Too gay to die. Powerful. Wonderful. About the gun used to shoot the inspector that was found at the scene. Ah, yes. That's not mine. Really? His common opinion seems to be that it is. What do you expect me to say to that? Lord Strongheart informs us that you claim to have misplaced your firearm. As embarrassing as that is, I'm afraid it's true. When did you lose it then? That I don't know. Oh, I mean, that's a little bit suspicious, but sure. I was issued with a revolver when I first became a prosecutor 10 years ago. I must have stowed it somewhere, I suppose. Or left it somewhere, perhaps. You have something in common with Lord Van Zieks, after all, Mr. Naruhodo. Talent for misplacing things. No, this has nothing to do with me. Don't drag me into it. Don't make the mistake of associating with me with this Nibonese. Oh dear, the rift is very wide, isn't it? So it's not decisive evidence, clearly, but it doesn't look good, that's for sure. Alright. Look at this photograph. Every time I do, it makes me wonder why you're actually smiling and happy. Lord Van Zieks, who came by this old photograph. Yeah, they do, apparently. Where did you get that? It was taken when I became a qualified prosecutor. It's almost unbelievable. I assumed it was... Damn it. It's almost unbelievable. I assumed it was long lost. Is the man on the left there? Yes. That's my brother, Clint. Oh, photographic print displaying rather prominently in Inspector Gregson's office. The person on the left is Lord Clint Van Zieks. It Had to be, really. Yeah, no kidding. Apparently, this picture was prominently displayed in Gregson's office. He had a deep respect for you, you know. Were you aware of that? Respect. That's nonsense. No, we've heard someone attest to it very clearly. Inspector Gina Lestrade, no less. Well, maybe once, yes. There was a time things were like that. We were brothers in arms, jovially discussing the future of justice and other such lofty subject matter. And then I became a vampire, and tried to suck his blood, and he got mad and tried to stake me, and it's never been the same since. That was a nice glimpse of the past. Thank you. I feel as though I got a nice glimpse of the past then, too. There was a glimmer of light in his eyes, a brief twinkle, an insight into the true nature of this man known to all as the stone-cold Reaper of the Bailey. Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, that's the first time he's ever used my actual name. I've lost all confidence in my country's justice system. I don't trust the police, the judiciary, or lawyers. Gregson Van Helsing. Yes, exactly. But there's still one thing I'm willing to believe in. What's that? That which you see in the eyes of another across the courtroom. A simple determination to know the truth. Lord Van Zieks! From the very first time we clashed in the Bailey, almost a year ago now, I couldn't deny it even though I dearly wished I could. Here is a loathsome Lebanese who has absolute integrity as a lawyer. There are only two other men I've known with that same look in their eyes. My brother Clint and Genshin Impact. The man he idolizes and the man who betrayed his trust in the most hideous way. When you showed me that photograph just now, it reminded me. You mean this photograph? Yes, the one you didn't even have time to put away in your pocket yet. That photograph. The only photograph you've shown him that wasn't evidence in the case. That photograph. The photograph of him at a happier time with his brother. The photograph you showed him that you're still holding. Yes, that. Back then, I was able to laugh. I was free of the shackles of mistrust that plague me now. I look to the future with hope. Since then, I have protected myself against betrayal by refusing to trust anyone. Holy crap, it all actually makes sense. That wasn't newspaper with fish and chips in it. It was a cleverly disguised steak in case he ever tried to bite him again. He was ready to just... It all makes perfect sense. But at times, the mire into which I've sunk makes it almost impossible to breathe. I'm so sorry. So, Mr. Naruhodo, I want to believe in that look in your eyes. I need to believe in it. In tomorrow's trial, will you advocate for me? No. Drops the mic. Leaves. Of course I will. It would be an honor. So please, Mr. Naruhodo. My life is in your hands. For Lord Van Zieks, it must have been an incredibly hard thing to ask, which is why I simply cannot let the man down. Tomorrow, in the Old Bailey, against my old friend, Kazuma. So, this is a really logical ending point. We still have an hour left. And it's pretty likely that I don't play this next weekend because of Path of Exile. We will not be playing it the weekend after because Monster Hunter. the weekend after that is likely enough. I could go a little further, but that also risks me definitely forgetting where I've left off instead of like a super logical point. But it's still kind of early. I know we won't hit another checkpoint in an hour. We just won't. I know that. That's not the way these things work out. We won't hit a checkpoint in an hour. We might hit a point where it's like, that works for us, but we're not going to hit a save point. Not at the rate I fail at these. I, man, I think the right call is to leave it so that I start at a very logical starting point. And I kind of feel like once we start the trial, cutting it off there, we're on like the final trial. I know it's going to take multiple parts. I don't think, well, it's probably going to be a long trial, but I don't know if there's going to be another investigation part to it because thematically, this has to happen. Yeah, no, I know it's not going to be short from here on. I know that. This is the final trial. We ain't got no, oh, we're going to finish. We're gonna, no, nah. The final trials are lengthy and good. I don't doubt that. It's earlier than I'd like to end, but I think it's the right call today. But tomorrow we'll continue with Manichemia. Tomorrow, Tuesday, Thursday, Manichemia. Friday cards. Saturday, Sunday, Path of Exile? I have no idea what I'm going to build for that league. If it seems like we're really close to Manichemia, I'll play Path of Exile on my own time and we'll finish Manichemia over the weekend. Because I don't know how far away we are. We're making steady enough progress in it that I'm not really worried. And I mean, if the worst case is we don't finish it before Monster Hunter, that's just how life's going to be. We play in Monster Hunter. So, that's just how things are. There's no dodging or avoiding that whatsoever. Yeah, I'm not going to go heavy into the league, but it'll be a fun thing to faff about with for a little bit. Uh, so I don't know. I like the concept of this league. Its timing is poor for me. If this league came out 2 weeks ago, hell yeah, I'd be playing that league. That would be perfect. But as it stands, I might faff about in it, but I probably won't go like deep end game or anything. Excuse me. So yeah. Well, at least if we're gonna end here, we're saving. Before I forget that. We're hiccuping repeatedly. I'm gonna see if we can find someone to raid. We're gonna end early. At the least, I gotta raid somebody. You know what? Valve Earth raids us often enough. I rarely raid Valve Earth. They're playing a game called Shady Part of Me, which I do not know, but it looks cool from the little bit I'm seeing on screen. So we're going to toss a raid their way. They might be ending soon because I feel like we have similar times, but whatever. Nah, not at all, Sora. I really haven't looked further at it. I've really kind of been, a lot of my free time lately that hasn't been Metaphor, to making progress in. I'm about to do an Opera House thing in Metaphor. So that should say where I am. And other than that, a lot of my time has been spent on learning how to like sell cards, and I'm trying to educate myself on TCG Player and eBay and stuff to make sure that like, what I'm doing right. There's a lot of different ways to do things, a lot of different opinions. So I'm trying to like educate and watch videos and stuff. So a lot of my time hasn't been looking at Path of Exile 1 stuff. So for now, we've got a raid for Valve Earth. Got ourselves a monster, a quote, a Discord. Yeah, it would help if there was a D there. And I put this on the other screen, didn't I? Yes, I did. Hold on, let's go nab it. Let's just click that. There we go. Perfect. And we've got our raid message. The good old Dance on Vipers. Cool. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for watching. This has been Viperess of Viperland. And I will see you all next time. eBay watch list. Oh, do they get mad at people who do like bad stuff? I'm trying to do like best practices, learn how to ship right. You know, trying to do things correctly instead of bumbling and learn as I go, which is my standard. But it seems good to not do